You can't beat them, join them.
Yeah.
That's where all these Nepali uncles come.
Right?
These days it's like illegal to threaten someone in that way. Like ice bolaincha hai.
We work with ICE also.
Ice?
We work. ICE is immigration.
Yeah. What is
He knows. He's already prepared.
I'm gonna get deported.
He's already prepared.
यहाँनिर नेपाली कप्सहरुसँग कहिले हाम्रो इन्टरेक्सन हुँदाखेरि पुरा सबै युज गरेर DSP सर
I tried my luck getting into like inspector position नेपालमै.
Oh, अनि what happened?
Couldn't crack the exam.
Oh, couldn't crack the exam.
गरेको हो नि
गरेकै हो तर
यता चाहिँ अब
source force चाहिँ भने एकजना अङ्कल हुनुहुन्छ.
It's too late for me now. It's too late.
Okay, yeah, that sucks. But hey.
Turn that shit up!
कति बोल्नु बोलेको राख्छु यता पनि बोलेको उता पनि बोल्यो अङ्ग्रेजीमा ब्याचलर्स गरेछु
Woo! Right? Sorry for the delay, bro.
That's alright.
के भयो?
आज एपिसोड 69
bro.
69 is our episode भइसक्यो त.
हाम्रो भ्युअरहरुले चाहिँ एपिसोड 69 चाहिँ अलिकति हुन्छ नि. अब they were hoping you would get
a Nepali porn star
something. In a way, हामी नेपाली
I don't qualify for that then.
Let's just sorry bro. I just want to say something about you. Even these two probably don't know how I met you and how I ran into you. The other day I was just chilling by I ran into Birat at Moksha, no? On the bus, he said like he has a friend who's come from out of town, like stays brother and briefly back home types.
Yeah.
On that, I was like, okay, let's just hang. Then I ran, like he introduced me to you. By the way, his name is Aakash, Mr. Aakash Dhungel.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, man. Then he told me like you were a cop, like a police, American police. I was like, म त नेपालको हुन्छ नेपाल पुलिस होला सोचिरहेको फर्स्टमा नेपाल पुलिस ठिक छ बस्दिम न भनेर. Then you came and you're like, I'm a US को cop. I was like, whoa, हुन्छ नि. And just got talking and then I was like, man, I gotta get this dude up in our thing out here, like Guff Guff Pass. And I was kind of reluctant to ask you because I don't know where your head is at, and like if we qualify or if it's too above below your pay grade.
No,
I don't know. I'm just assuming.
No.
Then I went and I texted these two saying like, dude, I just met this guy. Like, we gotta have him on. And they were like, yeah. And I just gave a brief background on you. And we were like, yeah, dude. So that's how. Just kind of a sudden, actually. I don't think anyone else we have brought on without much research, just like solely trusting on me when meeting you. And thank you, bro, for coming first.
Absolutely.
And you have a ton of awesome stories, man. Like the couple of hours we spent there was like a really like man-on-man talk.
Absolutely.
Like I could get insight to your journey through the land of opportunity.
Yeah, I mean that's one way to put it. अब तिमीले भने जस्तै we met म विराटसँग मेरो विराट पनि साथसँग बसेर we're just chilling अनि पछि he showed out of nowhere and he just happened to share some of the experience that I have accumulated so far in my life about मेरो academic background. I know we talked about that अनि how I transitioned from going from here to America, then joining the Navy as a medic. We call it corpsman, combat corpsman. Like I'm an FMF corpsman, but I'm a field medical force corpsman, and then coming out of the Navy and becoming a cop in the 10th largest city in the United States. So we had that conversation, and we talked in Kurako Pitsma. We talked about a whole bunch of his trip to Mustang.
All of us.
That was very interesting. I love traveling myself. See myself, doing the same kind of trip someday in near future. And he invited me to this show. I had no clue tapale yo show गरिराख्नु भएको छ अनि I went home, checked it out. You guys are doing great job in like bringing in people, very organic, हामी कुरा गरिरहेको थियो, bringing out ordinary people and sharing their extraordinary stories which people can relate. So I'm happy to be here to share some of the things that viewers can enjoy and can relate to in some shape or form. So thank you for having
How old were you when you went to the States for the first time?
I was
sorry अलिकति माइक अलिक पछाडि गर्नु अनि उसको तपाईको हजुर त्यहाँ
ठिक छ अब
सरी ल बरु तपाईको चाहिँ अलिकति अगाडि लाग्यो मैले कानमा सब सुनिरहेछु कि यसको चाहिँ ओभर अगाडि आउँदैछ तपाईको पर्फेक्ट छ पर्फेक्ट
म भर्खर 20 वर्ष पुगेको थिएँ.
So you went there for your bachelor's?
Yes.
How'd you transition from that to just like basic तिम्रो के भन्छ अहिलेसम्मको journey?
Retrospectमा हेर्नु पर्दाखेरि अब it definitely was not an easy के भन्छ transition, but कहिले पनि सोचेको थिएन obviously that I'm going to end up as a police officer हैन United States मा यता हुँदा पनि it was something that I never thought I would do even म यता नेपालमै भइदिएको भए पनि. So engineering school join गरेँ अनि पछि पढिरहेको थिएँ. Right after graduation, not so much like like brief मा भन्नु पर्दाखेरि after graduation I worked for this government organization, Department of Social Services भन्छ हैन. I have my bachelor's degree in computer science, software development. I'll ask like people throughout all kinds of engineering with these software engineering. I mean all kinds of names, right? But computer science basically. I worked as a junior software developer for 6 months. I found out that it was not something that I would love doing for the rest of my life. Career choice ma. So at the same time, but at the same time I was going through a very rough phase, the personal matters ma. I just had to take some time off. Just think back what I want to do in life. What future holds for me. This at the time it was I needed something to do, to prove myself. Just so what can I do besides my typical engineering? What can I do where I can start off of clean slate, where I don't have to deal with all this negativity that's going on in my life, where I can go be myself and just about it. Like combat medic say like army term, Navy matsu we call it corpsman. Medical field I'm quite just interesting, but I love the idea of corpsman going out, being a frontline medic, working with the Marines, saving lives, taking life if needs be. Intriguing to me. So I joined as a corpsman, went through the initial stage boot camp, which all the sailors go through on this. But went through medical school, which is about 6-7 months long. This was a transition into, I would say, field medic once, which is about another 3 months. Then I was attached to 4th Force Recons, which is a reconnaissance, special force reconnaissance unit. This pipeline I was going through dive school, recon school to get my SARC certification, which is special amphibious reconnaissance corpsman. Basically, if you're performing high profile mission or working with our special forces, or you're basically attached to this element as their medic. They go rate ani multi reserve component ma bhako karanle चाहिँ म ठ्याक्क 3 years को pipeline थियो, म ठ्याक्क निस्किरा थिए त्यतिखेर. अनि पछि मलाई चाहिँ सरकारले 3 वर्षको नेभीले 3 वर्षको टाइमलाइन दिएको थियो कम्प्लिट गर्नलाई. At the same time म बाहिर आएर चाहिँ what can I do, मेरो academic background अनि बेसी मेरो life को all the life experiences I have accumulated over the years, school gaera, different jobs गरेर अनि पछि नेभी को ट्रेनिङहरु where can I use मैले कुन कुरा गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ I can use all these experiences भन्ने लागेको थियो. अनि पछि law enforcement seems the more, it's at that time at least, अनि अहिले पनि I'm very glad that I chose that chose law enforcement as my primary career path. It seemed the most ideal thing to do. I started applying to a bunch of agencies. Was one of the hardest thing for me to go through the process. It took me almost 1 year to get hired. San Jose, which is the 10th largest city in the United States, the agency hired me. I went to the academy, which was about 7 months long, and I sworn like शपथले भन्छ नि हैन like हात उठाएर they मलाई स्टेटले अथराइज मेरो पुलिस credentialsहरू December 2018 को 14 December 14 2018 को they gave me the powers authority and I've been working as a police officer ever since. So a lot of ups and downs, a lot of difficult I mean it was a difficult journey, but there, that's the transition.
Last year must have been rough for you then.
Last year, well, you mean like in terms of George Floyd incident?
George Floyd riotings.
It was. Made a personal level money. It was rough because last year, my father, my stepdad, he passed away, and I actually came here 29 go enigma, and I was here until February. So I was going through a very emotional, traumatic experience. I saw my share गर्नुहुन्छ that's fine, right? Okay. So I saw my मेरो father passed away आफ्नै अगाडि हैन अनि so it was very traumatic. म गएर मम्मीसँग धेरै time spend गर्न पाएन because obviously I was working, so I couldn't afford the time that needed to be with my mom. मेरो मम्मी एकसँग हुन्छ अनि पछि I couldn't afford that time to be with her अनि पछि मम्मीलाई comfort गर्नलाई हैन because of duty calls भन्ने जस्तो कुरा भएको थियो. So I went back right away. त्यस्तै बाबा बितेको 20 days पछि नै होला सायद 20 days पनि बसेन त्यसपछि 15 days extend गरेँ अनि पछि I went back and मलाई गइसकेपछि मलाई चाहिँ कस्तो गिल्ट फिल भयो क्या लाइक अब बाबा पनि बितिराख्नु भएको छ मम्मी एक्लै हुनुहुन्छ I'm here मैले यो गर्नुपर्छ अनि पछि त्यो एउटा इमोसनल burden बोकेर I don't think I'm in the right place to go out and help people who need me हुन्छ लाइक म त्यस्तो क्ल्यारिटी थिएन मेरो माइन्डमा अनि पछि मेरो मम्मी चाहिँ initially she was not very accepting of the fact that मैले I chose law enforcement as a primary career path after spending so much time and effort trying to become an engineer हैन अनि पछि my mom मेरो ममले चाहिँ मलाई एकदमै बेक त गर्नु भएन but she wanted me not to do law enforcement because she had an idea of she was very fearful of the fact law enforcement in America is very everywhere, right?
Yeah.
So every time it's inherently very dangerous profession.
More so in America.
Yeah, mostly in America, right? We have about statistically, we about more than 200 officers get shot, in line of duty, right? So which is not very normal, or this but America it's very normal thing, yeah. Media but that's just the reality. So, ani त्यो भएर चाहिँ मेरो ममले चाहिँ she wanted me to do what I went to school for. And पछि मैले गएँ and I reflected on what she मेरो ममले के भन्नुभयो अनि पछि त्यतिखेर circumstances के थियो मेरो familyमा अनि पछि I actually put in my resignation, gave my badge and gun and I said I quit. So I quit February को म आइसकेपछि एन्डमा अनि पछि it was a tough decision at that time and felt like it was the right decision. अनि पछि त्यही टाइममा ठ्याक्कै अनि पछि हाम्रो one of the aircraft carrier that we के भन्छ हाम्रो Pacific Pacific fleet मा भएको हाम्रो one of the we have two carrier we all usually have two carrier Atlantic हाम्रो fleet मा 7 fleet चाहिँ Pacific fleet हो त्यहाँ चाहिँ हाम्रो two aircraft carrier त्यहाँ हुन्छ Atlantic fleet मा दुईटा हुन्छ एउटा carrier मा चाहिँ
one sec, sorry. Yeah. Like I don't think the viewers know that you are simultaneously working for the Navy and the COP at the
Yes, so I'm
there must be like COP air fleet.
Yeah, it is.
What the hell?
It is a little confusing when I try to explain to people, but okay, one. So without saying, they allow you to be in the reserve, which is like a part-time thing, and at the same time, topic of civilian side, you can do your full-time gig, which for me is law enforcement. So,
but if duty calls, you have to.
Yeah, so if duty calls, there's a presidential enactment one. So Title 10 अंतर्गत है ना Title 10 में जो federal statute, presidents वाला say they can say okay, I'm gonna activate all the medics or if they need transporters or whoever they need cook or जो much say so president okay we need all these people to go active duty for X many months or X many years. This is one मिल्छ क्या. So one of the carriers which usually about 5,000 to 7,000 sailors एउटा carryमा at a given time हुन्छ हैन त्यसमा चाहिँ there was a COVID outbreak so they brought the carrier Guam हाम्रो Guam which is one of our
Station.
yeah Guam हाम्रो territory or US को territory त्यहाँ लगेर डक गरेको थियो क्या so मेरो order आयो I had 5 days to prepare myself अनि मैले मेरो सबै सामानहरू छोडेर अपार्टमेन्टमा सामानहरू बेचबिख गरेर अनि पछि I had to leave so it was a very short fused order अनि I left went to San Diego did my के भन्छ preparation out there अनि went to Guam अनि we built field hospital अनि के भन्छ fortunately majority of the sailors अनि service member जो चाहिँ हाम्रो aircraft carrierमा हुनुहुन्थ्यो young service member right so complications त के पनि भएन so they went back अनि उनीहरूले चाहिँ हामीलाई although it was 1 year को order थियो मेरो initial order they cut me loose अनि पछि I came back अनि म आइसकेपछि चाहिँ मेरो त्यो अब active duty commitment सक्यो हैन अनि पछि म आइसकेपछि okay what am I going to do now हैन I don't have a job I'm not a cop anymore I mean I am a state certified cop but I'm not actively working at the moment अनि पछि मेरो अब active duty को commitment पनि सक्यो so यतिकै सोचिरहेको थिएँ and I thought I'm going to talk to my mom अनि get back into the force भन्ने कुरा जस्तो भयो अनि मेरो momसँग कुरा गरेँ अनि momलाई कुरा गरेर मैले mom this is the deal हैन I really want to go back and do what I love you know doing because I really enjoyed helping people and seeing that having the ability to make or impact people at a personal level हैन law enforcement त्यस्तो कुरा allow गर्छ क्या अनि यहाँ पनि allow गर्छ सबै ठाउँमा allow गर्छ हैन it's one of the profession where you can see तपाईले गरेको काम हुन्छ like go impact right away क्या अनि right away त भन्दिन some cases takes forever to get adjudicated but sometimes अब तपाईले गरेको कुनै ठाउँमा you respond and you're able to help people and उनीहरूले तपाईलाई जुन दिने एउटा के भन्छ thank you होस् अथवा anything right you are able to see that change right away so त्यो गर्छु भने मैले ममलाई कन्भिन्स गरेँ and I started I went मैले सर्भ गरेँ भनौँ न मेरो अहिलेको एजेन्सीमा सर्भ गरेँ अनि I've been working ever since अहिलेको एजेन्सीमा which is in the city of Pittsburgh so
Pittsburgh
yeah which is Bay Area San Francisco Bay Area को नजिकै neighboring city हो within 30 miles 35-40 miles यतिमा yeah I know
that's a pretty intense resume by the way
well I'm pretty sure there are people with more intense resume than I
yet to come across one honestly I'm yet to come across a more intense
oh there are people I'm pretty sure you know throughout my journey I've met including you guys right म चाहिँ like life मान्छेहरूले के गर्यो भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ like अब कहाँसम्म I mean people do all kinds of like people have the ability to change life at every you know level of के भन्ने wherever they're at right people working at I don't know big companies I guess they do whatever they do and mass manchego life changes and if we're talking about you know what we're doing out here I mean sane seri kura gare pani honestly we briefly talked about the fact that I'm यसरी कुरा गर्छौं हैन seems like we're not doing a whole lot but viewers hole जोसुकै मान्छेले हेरिराख्नु भएको छ for them it can be you know that moment that you know that comfort or that drive or that motivation that they're seeking on पछि उनीहरु जब अर्को मान्छेले भनेको कुरा सुन्छ अनि they can resonate they can connect and they're like okay you know what this is what I wanted to hear at this time अनि now I'm going to do this भन्ने कुरा हुन्छ so we have the ability to change that you know change that कोही मान्छेको like सानै कुरा is impactful हैन so we have that ability
yeah like honestly the reason I wanted to have you on here was because me personally I have never had the chance to go to America and stuff and मलाई सान बच्चादेखि त्यो कहिले अमेरिका हुन्छ नि के Nepali dream. People Nepali dream like some people have it some they don't you know
yeah
so for me I honestly can say I never had the will or desire to go to the Western world I'd rather go to Japan you know for me like the Eastern world is more inviting जस्तो लाग्छ म जापान गएको छैन तर if I had a choice to go to Japan or
I cannot confirm or deny the कुरामा चाहिँ but I'm pretty sure Japan is के भन्छ very welcoming
yeah I mean just an example so having heard your story I was like man there are so many people maybe some people who listen to us are even like 3 of us or 4 of us if we can derive that like for example this dude is aspiring to go to America right भन्न है
This December.
This December?
Yeah.
What are you trying to like do?
To New York for my masters.
Right on, bro. Get masters kick like
Business administration.
money.
Money.
So I was
Money,
like,
man, chasing
if you
money,
can-
man, which is not a bad thing, right? You gotta help yourself, be where you want to be before you start, helping others. So
Exactly.
I think it's great to like aspire for MBA and like build your company, or whatever you want to do in life. So that's amazing.
So if you could just come and give us a little 2 bits actually I wanted to have you on.
Kosto kosto re?
Like topic experiences about like
Yeah.
more that 2 hours we spend bro out there.
Yeah.
Honestly speaking, I am like out of this podcast stuff like म कहिले लामो त्यसरी कोसँग
Yeah.
बसेर बोले छैन के.
Yeah, we had a good conversation त्यतिखेर. I mean, we talked about all kinds of stuff.
Yeah dude.
Like
It's
it was,
pretty intriguing. But I wanted to know, like, law enforcement is a pretty serious thing,
Yeah.
in terms of any organization that runs government side,
right.
And I think especially America, they take their security pretty seriously. And you went यताबाट चाहिँ पढ्नलाई,
Yeah.
and then
The Nepali citizen.
is there like a mandatory thing like where you have to be a citizen or something
Yeah.
like that?
So मेरो चाहिँ फ्यामिलीको थ्रुबाट भयो हैन. I grew up मेरो stepdad is not Nepali. So but yeah, in order for you to be a police officer भनौँ न, कुनै पनि like state level को being a police officer is के भन्छ holding office भनौँ न, office को position भन्छ. त्यस्तो कुनै पनि position को लागि तपाईको अब municipal level को होस् अथवा state level को होस् अथवा federal level को होस्, you have to be a US citizen.
I mean that's everywhere. नेपालमा पनि
नेपालमा त्यही त हो नि हैन. Like तपाईको I don't think any नागरिकता हुनै पर्छ कुनै पनि सरकारी कार्यालयमा काम गर्दाखेरि.
पहिला when you left from here, you were
Yeah,
just an
yeah.
ordinary guy. You came back here as a cop,
Yeah.
from America.
Yeah.
Do you notice यताको cops like see like, man, this guy should be doing something else?
No, actually मैले चाहिँ like it's interesting that you brought that up. मैले चाहिँ उता गइसकेपछि चाहिँ यो unintentional fame भनौँ, not a fame is a big word, right? But म बस्ने ठाउँमा obviously म बस्ने राज्यमा के भन्छ, म क्यालिफोर्नियामा बस्छु by the way. अनि पछि there are at least as I know there are cops, Nepali मान्छेहरू cops हुनुहुन्छ, police officer हुनुपर्छ. I recently found out there is one in I mean there are few one in Texas and few in NYPD. That's what I heard. अनि पछि के भन्छ, म initial hiring phase बाट गइरहेको थिएँ. अनि पछि त्यतिखेर I try to do my due diligence in trying to find out कोही हुनुहुन्छ भने maybe I can pick this person's brain भने जस्तै मैले भने जस्तै, right? I'm trying to use your term right here. So pick this person's brain to see process कस्तो हुन्छ हैन, because obviously it was a completely different career path. अनि पछि something that मैले मेरो knowledge अनुसार चाहिँ कसरी नगरेको कुरा हैन. So there was no resources for me to go and say hey man, like I know you were a cop, how do I get into this भनेको त्यो resource चाहिँ थिएन क्या. अनि पछि त्यो भयो. अनि पछि त्यो भइसकेपछि चाहिँ एउटा अङ्कल हुनुहुन्छ त्यहाँको लागि जल्दो बल्दो भनौँ न, एउटा अङ्कल
Uncle Sam.
Uncle Sam. अनि अङ्कल like हाम्रो नेपाली अङ्कलै हुनुहुन्छ, सो अलिकति जल्दो बल्दो. अनि त्यो अङ्कलले चाहिँ somehow he found out के भन्छ, मैले एकाडेमीबाट मेरो के भन्छ ग्रेजुएसन भइसकेपछि he found out that नेपाली पनि यता police officer भएछ है भनेर पछि he reached out to me. I don't know how he managed to get my phone.
He was a cop too.
No, he's I think like उताको
Proud Nepali guy.
Proud Nepali who is a politician हैन. अनि पछि नेपाली politician हैन, भए पनि like
Immigrant mentality.
yeah, he's like okay, let's push and then like हाम्रो के भन्छ, we need a
Strong like
role model or science हामीलाई हुन्छ नि, because त्यहाँ 1 लाख जति नेपाली हुनुहुन्छ कि त्यो म बस्ने ठाउँमा. अनि पछि अब usually मान्छेको career choice भनेको everybody trying to हुन्छ नि like be a doctor or engineer and an engineer. अनि पछि अथवा like things that we've been wanting to do since we were kids, right? Yeah. So to see somebody who was doing something that's not normal to I mean Nepali community ma, I think I guess he wanted to use me as an example,
Poster boy.
Yeah, horse the boy, right? So he reached out to me and he was like, hey, so and so. I recently found out that you graduated from San Jose Police Academy. Is it okay if I, like put you on my page so that people can see and that they can get a little bit of inspiration and aspiration to be
Nepali party my chief guest.
I wish. But anyway, so just the one was which was it was wow, I think like I've done something not a big deal, but something here just a lot. And he posted and a lot of people might reach out going like congratulate going like that. And a process I actually met uncle in Nepal uncle. There are a lot of uncles. I made a lot of uncles and aunties after that, eh? Uncle, aunties, shawties, everybody. But anyways, jokes. Uncle say Nepal DSP and but retired. Like Nepal law enforcement. This I'm trying to get back to that. So he was very happy, just like everybody else, that like law enforcement career like after career career choice बनाएर त्यसमा हिँडिरहेको अनि पछि उहाँले भन्नुभएको थियो नेपालमा यसो हामीलाई त अब नेपालमा हेर्दा त law enforcement is so different than law enforcement somewhere else, especially in America, right? And it is very different in terms of how we do things. There are similarities also, because at the end of the day, we both go serve and protect the public. We're just public servant. धेरै कुरा भएको थियो अनि उहाँले चाहिँ मलाई नेपालमा यस्तो law enforcement यता भन्नुभएको थियो. So यहाँ आउँदाखेरि मैले उहाँको थ्रुबाट एक दुईजनालाई भेटेको थिएँ. म like 2018 मा पनि आएँ, 19 मा पनि आएँ अनि उहाँ आउँदाखेरि every time यहाँ गएर हुन्छ तिमी यहाँ जाँदाखेरि उसलाई भेट, if you need anything. Obviously नेपालमा त्यस्तो त source force के भयो भने उहाँलाई गएर भेटेँ यसो भन्नुभएको थियो. I did meet के भन्छ यता त्यहाँ मेजीमा हुँदाखेरि त्यही दरबारको एक दुईजना अफिसरहरू हुनुहुन्थ्यो, इन्सपेक्टरहरू, उहाँलाई भेटेको थिएँ मैले. So which is helpful sometimes.
Because like usually Nepal or any other country outside of America, when people go there, most of them would choose the not so legal route to
yeah.
And then like you're that way you're always scared of the cops, law enforcement in general, and then to be on the other side of the team. It's like a hack type.
You can't beat them, join them.
Yeah.
That's where all these Nepali uncles come.
Right?
These days it's like illegal to threaten someone in that way. Like ice bolaincho hai.
We work with ICE also.
ICE?
We work. ICE is immigration.
Yeah. What is
He knows. He's already prepared.
I'm gonna get deported.
He's already prepared.
यहाँनिर नेपाली कप्सहरुसँग कहिले हाम्रो इन्टरेक्सन हुँदाखेरि पुरा सबै युज गरेर DSP
sir. I tried my luck getting into like inspector position Nepalमै.
And what happened?
Couldn't crack the exam.
Couldn't crack the exam.
गरेको हो नि
गरेकै हो तर
यता चाहिँ अब
source force.
It's too late for me now. It's too late.
Okay, yeah, that sucks. But hey.
What was the process to police academy?
Okay. So who knows? NYPD man, we got a new poster boy in NYPD man, right? So the process say the initial उता कस्तो हुन्छ law enforcement central हाम्रो चाहिँ नेपाल police भन्छ हैन उता चाहिँ police as a government body चाहिँ is ran भनौं न त्यो चाहिँ municipal agency ले run गर्छ के त्यसलाई चाहिँ तपाईको state ले पनि run गर्छ एउटा state police हुन्छ which are highway patrols they are funded by state municipal police हुन्छ they are run by उनीहरुलाई चाहिँ तपाईको city ले run गर्छ
airport police पनि
there are all kinds of police but उनीहरुको सबैको as a authority and it's the same thing they all our आफ्नो power पाउँछ it comes from the same एउटा police सबैलाई power दिने एउटा organization छ हैन त्यहीबाट power पाउँछ हैन so process चाहिँ कस्तो हुन्छ नि first thing कुनै पनि अब you can look into whether state is hiring whether municipal agency is hiring or whether any organization is hiring right so you go into their website see their advertisement अनि पछि you apply just like any job. And the only different when it comes to applying to become a law enforcement officer, as a peace officer once again, law enforcement officer, police officer peace officer is more like, okay, you know, I come in peace type of. So peace officer, right? So you put in an application, and their HR will review like initial mandatory eligibility requirement. So if you meet all that, they will initially do a soft background once again. They will run your social security, which is सामाजिक सेवा नम्बर भन्ने एउटा 9 digit नम्बर दिएको हुन्छ। त्यो अनुसारै तपाईको DOJ मा भएको डिपार्टमेन्ट अफ जस्टिसमा भएको रेकर्डहरु सबै पुल अप हुन्छ। अनि पछि फेडरल FBI को भएकोमा डेटाबेसहरु सबै पुल इन हुन्छ। एनीथिङ दैट यु हैव सबमिटेड टु US गभर्नमेन्ट जन्मेदेखि अथवा इफ लाइक भिजिटर गएर भएको हुन्छ कि एनीथिङ क्रिमिनल एक्टिभिटीमा इन्भल्भ भएको छ, पहिला पुलिस अफिसरले स्टप गरेछ, वेदर ना यु बिन इन्भल्भ इन a traffic accident, त्यो सबै कुरा पुल अप हुन्छ क्या। त्यो उनीहरुको इनिशियल असेसमेन्ट चाहिँ तपाईले भरेको त्यो इनिशियल एप्लिकेसनमा चाहिँ यो मान्छे ल इन्फोर्समेन्ट अफिसर हुन ठिक छ कि छैन भन्ने त्यो जजमेन्ट गर्न हैन। सो वन्स they verify that okay this applicant meets the XYZ criteria, they will push you in. And next step भनेको चाहिँ तपाईको लिखित र अनि तपाईको फिजिकल हुन्छ, which is very basic. Any like हाम्रो नेपालको हाम्रो undergrad, even like अहिलेको हाई स्कुल एजुकेसनले चाहिँ it's suffice त्यो हुन्छ नि। तपाईको एउटा तपाईको अब एसेहरु हुन्छ, क्रिमिनल एसे एसे हैन, एउटा क्रिमिनल केसको लाइक सानसानो के भन्छ त्यो एउटा सेक्सनहरु हुन्छ। अनि पछि त्यो सेक्सन पढेर you have to answer bunch of questions, अनि पछि तपाईको vocabulary चेक गर्छ हैन। त्यो चाहिँ तपाईको लिखितमा पर्यो। अनि तपाईको फिजिकलमा चाहिँ you have to run mile and a half, you have to do के भन्छ त्यो 6 foot wall jump गर्नुपर्छ हैन। अनि पछि स्प्रिन्ट गर्नुपर्छ यताउति के अनि त्यो के भन्छ डमी ड्र्याग गर्नुपर्छ, त्यस्तो हुन्छ। त्यो चाहिँ इनिशियल तपाईको रिटन र अनि फिजिकल भयो। त्यो सकेपछि चाहिँ त्यो टेस्ट लिएर चाहिँ तपाईले एजेन्सीलाई फेरि सबमिट गर्नु पर्यो। त्यो भइसकेपछि दे विल इन्भाइट यु फर यो ओरल बोर्ड चाहिँ तपाईको के भन्छ, अब तपाई सिटी एजेन्सीमा अप्लाई गर्नु भएको छ नि, सिटीको एउटा काउन्सिल मेम्बर हुन्छ, तपाईको ओडाबाट मान्छेहरु भएको छ, ओडाबाट मान्छे हुन्छ। दे विल पिक डिपेन्डिङ अन द एजेन्सी, दे विल have one citizen like a normal random citizen, and they will have captain or your lieutenant or sergeant, whoever they want to have topical oral board man. Oral board usually takes about anywhere from 15 to 45 minutes depending on the type of the question they ask you, and you know the type of the things you want them to hear or answer. Oral board is weighted topical like 100 score हुन्छ depending on usually agency or they don't take anybody who scored below 85. अनि त्यसमा चाहिँ क्वेशनहरु तपाईको अमेरिकाको constitution related, law enforcement related, तपाईको general तपाईको moral principle, ethical dilemmasहरुमा तपाईले कसरी रियाक्ट गर्नुहुन्छ, एउटा certain criminal activities तपाईले देख्नु भयो हैन, तपाईले त्यसलाई कसरी अप्रोच गर्नुहुन्छ, तपाईको माइन्डसेट बुझ्नुलाई हैन, त्यो भन्छ। त्यो तपाईको ओरल बोर्ड पास भइसकेपछि अनि पछि they will assign a background investigator, अनि तपाईको यत्रो like 27 pages को एउटा personal history statement भन्ने एउटा फोल्डर हुन्छ, you have to fill out, which consists of everything about you, जन्मेको गर्लफ्रेन्ड कतिवटा गर्लफ्रेन्ड भयो, everything. They want to know each and every details about you. When I say everything, and they will contact everybody you've ever lived with.
Girlfriend extra lam socha.
So I mean if you do
randomly
I don't know. I mean it depends, right?
Yeah,
there's a section and the PHS the personal history statement, there's a section which asks okay how many relationship you've had in the past, list all those people, because the idea of that is to see usually if you're in a relationship partner for however long you've been with that person त्यो मान्छे तपाईले चिनेको हुन्छ नि, देखेको हुन्छ नि त के भन्छ अरु मान्छे भन्दा, राइट? सो त्यो मान्छेसँग गएर बोल्दाखेरि कुरा गर्दाखेरि क्वेशन सोध्दाखेरि the investigator can have a very accurate assessment of तपाईँको behaviors, personality, how you are when you're angry, How do you handle stress? Yस्तो कुराहरु के. So they will contact your employers, they will contact your parents, your sisters if you have siblings, they will contact your girlfriend, boyfriend's wife, अनि पछि they will check your credit, they will check your criminal history अनि all सबै कुराहरु त्यो सबै भर्यो अनि पछि सबमिट गरेपछि you have a one-on-one interview about which usually takes about 3 to 4 hours with the investigator himself, and you guys about जसले application भरेको त्यो मान्छे र applicant र investigator बसेर त्यो सबै कुराहरु page by page जान्छ अनि so verification process, right? यसरी नै some investigator use camera पनि तर मेरोमा चाहिँ के भन्छ they only use audio recorder. त्यो भयो त्यो investigator त्यो interview wrap up गरिसकेपछि you have to sign a के भन्छ declaration form saying that मैले यसमा जति पनि information दिएको छु त्यो all those information are accurate अनि you can contact anybody I've listed your contact your folder मा you have the permission to run my के भन्छ मेरो social security, you have permission to run my DOJ, you have pretty much permission to find everything about me. त्यो भन्यो. So your background investigation usually lasts about depending on the agency on how तपाईँको मान्छेको as an individual background कस्तो छ हैन. Some people we all come from different backgrounds. Some people have कसैको criminal कुराहरुमा involved भएको हुन्छ as a victim, as a suspect, who knows, right? Depending on those type of things, it can last from 3 months to a year. Maybe it took me 6 months for my investigator to complete my background. And when I said they will contact your ex, my investigator did contact my ex. So this the ones like right? So Nepal, but at the time uday थियो भनौं न. Yeah. So
के भन्ने राम्रै दिएछ त अन्त रिभ्यु.
Thankfully, right? Thankfully, so before
he's a very caring guy. Yeah.
Hey, please put in a good word.
Let's put all our issues aside for one phone call.
The moral of the story is, if you want to break up in the good terms, right? So this त्यो भयो अनि पछि त्यो भइसकेपछि.
Bro, how do you move up in ranks? Is it merit based or time thing? Do you have to write an exam to get promoted?
Super thorough त्यो रहेछ के process.
Yeah. So
नेपालमा त्यस्तो हुन्थ्यो?
Yeah. So let me just finish that त्यो के भन्छ process कुरा and I'll get back to your question. So त्यो भयो I'm just going to finish really quick. त्यो भइसकेपछि you have to do a lie detector test, which is a polygraph test. त्यो हुन्छ you have to pass that.
के सोध्छ bro त्यसमा चाहिँ?
Oh man.
Is it classified?
No, it's not. It's not classified. एकदम के भन्छ open questionnaire हुन्छ.
Who's cancer
Gaza Khatis, हैन? So Gaza Khatis. Yeah, Gaza Khatis. I mean, अब Gaza इसे त सोध्दैन हैन? Have you ever done drugs? हैन? And drugs मा चाहिँ the proctor will ask you, there's a list of all kinds of drugs अनि depending on whether or not you're lying or not, being honest, तपाईँको monitor, तपाईँको diaphragm check गरेर हुन्छ, तपाईँको butt cheeks मा एउटा हुन्छ नि like butt cheeks squeeze गर्दै So it sounds funny, but that's true, right? And तपाईको nerves हुँदाखेरि मान्छे usually people do this. So तपाईँको खुट्टामा तल pad हालेको हुन्छ अनि there's a camera that tracks your तपाईँको retina move गर्ने because people nervous हुँदाखेरि I guess there is a difference. So तपाईँको physiological हुन्छ नि changesहरु त्यो गर्छ. तपाईले initially सोध्दाखेरि polygraph सोध्दाखेरि they will ask you a question that is तपाईलाई for example म तिमीलाई okay म तपाईलाई भने I'm a proctor and पछि मैले चाहिँ आज कुन दिन हो? Monday, okay. So today is Monday, all right? Today is Monday. When I ask you what day is today, I want you to say today is Sunday. हैन त्यसो भन्ने के अनि पछि okay what day is today भन्दाखेरि Sunday भने हैन. So the example is the example अनि he reacts हुन्छ नि उसको physiological changes कस्तो हुन्छ when he's lying भन्ने कुरा के. But he asks you other question but the basic gist is it त्यस्तो हुन्छ के. अनि त्यो भयो अनि polygraph
pass भयो त्यो पनि.
Pass भयो. Drugs को कुरा, sexual activity को कुरा, lie गरेको छैन कुरा. They'll ask whether or not you lie. Who doesn't lie, right? Everybody does.
That's a
depends like
question.
whether or not your lie is harmful. Exactly. This is the कुरा. तपाईको characters को बारेको कुराहरु. So त्यो पनि pass भयो. Then you go through a psychological evaluation because as a law enforcement officer you have access to a deadly weapon 24/7, हैन? So they want to make sure that you are a person of moral, sound judgment and character. Any psychological evaluation takes about 4 hours. It's a written assessment. questions are like, do you want to commit a suicide? This is the question. Like different ways, so they do like fire. Are you are you angry when it's the like it's the question like but like 2700 sort of question so like yes no
2700
questions yeah
Damn.
agree disagree
Cool.
1 to 5 there अनि पछि like basically it's the anger like तपाईँको like अब तपाईँको mental and तपाईँको emotional त्यसको check on right assessment मात्र हो. It's not a pass or fail assessment. It's basically to see as a के भन्छ
It's like a personality test.
exactly personality traits or कुरा हेर्ने मात्र हो. So you as long as you fall within this umbrella of all the police officers that have gone through the process over the years, I don't know since when since the inception of the psychological evaluation process itself, if you fall within those so the karma, you're good to go. If you fall to the right, to the left, then you have one-on-one interview with a psychologist or psychiatric, I forgot.
Counselor.
Like doctor, but I'm not doctor, like clinical doctor, right? अनि नभए पनि हुन्छ त्यो interview हुन्छ and she wants to go through talk about whether or not your childhood had you went through any trauma in childhood, because usually you have a family मान्छेको different family dynamics हुन्छ अनि पछि we all go through some sort of or some level of trauma of आफ्नो personal life मा, right? Challenges and everything. And you open up with that, and once she gives you or he gives you a green light, they will submit all those things to the agency. The agency will give you a conditional offer saying, okay, everything looks good. All you got to do is a medical evaluation where they check your bones, like whether or not you have, heart issues, because law enforcement takes a lot of like running, chasing bad guys, right? Stress. But once that's, checked, they will offer you the appointment. You go to the academy. Academy consists 7 months long. You study law, arrest and control techniques. There's a little bit of not boxing, but
self-defense.
Self-defense, right? Self-defense. A lot of driving, defensive and offensive driving. It's a lot of shooting.
But since since you're talking about the training part, I don't know. I listen to a ton of like podcasts originating from the US, and they're always talking about like law enforcement role and training and all that. What the most often and recently सुनेको criticism police I'm nobody, but I'm just relaying, right? They're saying like the training parts are comedy police ko. Is that true, or what do you think? Since you've been to the Navy as well, you can attest to
that is true.
I mean, like
up to
we were talking about
certain degree.
jiu-jitsu,
Yes, there is some truth in that. The training that we receive in the academy does not prepare us to go out on the street and do what the public expect us to do.
No, policing is a hard job.
Policing is a hard job.
I'm not saying
no, I know, I understand.
like that,
and I'm trying to answer your question. Policing is hard. It's hard in Nepal. It's hard in America. It's hard in India. It's a hard profession, right? There's an inherent risk involved. People, law enforcement officer everywhere.
In most cases, they're like scapegoats. Like if nothing goes, there's no explanation. Like blame the fucking police.
Yeah. There's a song, right?
Yeah.
So there is that disconnect on public. People usually don't see police officer are like so cost training and a lot of agency, they do a very good job in producing it, like documentaries just like academy journey when they do a good job and our training and experience it doesn't stop when you graduate. So there is a phase called FDO, which basically is you go through the pipeline and you're being evaluated, trained by a senior officer for 4 months, sometimes 5 months. So you're being like observed and trained by an officer who've done the job, proved himself
training
worthy.
natives.
Yeah. So you get trained for 4 months. So that's part of the training also. And you get exposed to so many things. Probably like since day one, when I say you get exposed to things, I had to more like when I started, my first day called I think my first day was a 15 hours shift. I really had to sit and think, like, is this really the job that I want to do for the rest of my life? Because I knew it's gonna take a big toll on my emotional being, my physical being, मेरो सम्बन्ध with my partner, my potential future partner. It's a very stressful job, right? But training doesn't stop at academy. त्यो मान्छेहरुको चाहिँ एउटा perception हो उनीहरुले training पाउँदैन अनि पछि that's why they go out and then they resort to deadly force whenever a threat is presented. And there is truth to that.
Yeah, there are cases where you see like videos don't lie, no? Sometimes
videos don't lie.
Like there are videos where unnecessary force पनि चलाएको हुन्छ.
Absolutely. Like, there is
stressly हो कि त्यो personality नै त्यस्तो हो कि is there racism? I don't know, man. I'm not an American, but like outside I can speak like an outsider.
Yeah.
Outside America, the general narrative के छ क्या?
And I can understand, like, as a citizen perspective, right? There was a time when I was very critical about how police officers सबै ठाउँमा उहाँहरूले कसरी काम गर्नुहुन्थ्यो, because I was म त्यही लेभलबाट हेर्थेँ के, त्यही लेभलबाट त्यही पर्सपेक्टिभबाट त्यही लेन्सेसबाट म हेर्थेँ उहाँले गरेको कामहरू हैन. But when you go मैले चाहिँ अब there is some bias in me because I do that job every day, right? I wear the uniform, I put on the badge, I go out and do it every day. But हाम्रो चाहिँ एउटा law enforcement एउटा term, so we call it Monday morning quarterbacking months, and it's you know that, right?
Backseat driving.
Exactly. So you do not know तपाईँ त्यो पोजिसनमा थिएन. That's why you cannot make के भन्छ एउटा uninformed भनौँ न usually के भन्छ judgment or assumption about an officer who did what he had to do at the time and given the circumstances. त्यो हामीले जजै गर्न सक्दैन क्या किनभने त्यसमा emotional part हुन्छ. When somebody presents yourself के भन्छ suspect भनौँ, they present your officer like with a firearm. हामीले अस्ति एउटा भिडियो पनि हेरेको थियौ हैन,
element of surprise.
Element of surprise, right? There's always you have to make a decision in split second. Like there's no time to think, you have to act.
Either like fight or die.
अनि पछि अब त्यस्तै हो. Training, can we do better? Yes, we can do better here in Nepal as a law enforcement. We can do law enforcement, we can do better everywhere. America, definitely. Like hand-to-head combat also. There's a lot of talk about providing law enforcement officers with crisis intervention training, which basically is training that deals with dealing with people with who are suffering and are going through mental health issues. And because we get a lot of call for services, मान्छेहरु जो चाहिँ अब we have an unruly person गयो अनि पछि they have a knife or whatever the case is अनि पछि अब knife is a deadly weapon, right? Because knife can cause a lot of damage depending on who's using it, right? बच्चाले use गर्दा किन होला, but a person who's got skills, who's good with like about techniques,
like a strong
dude, right?
With no technique also.
With no technique also, right? All it takes is like order katyo, next thing you know, 15 seconds you're done, right? So what do you do? What's the what do you resort? A deadly force to stop the threat. The मान्छेलाई मार्ने भनेको हैन कि officer disarm, neutralize. We are neutralizing the threat, I know, but it comes with a big cost of having to unintentionally take a life.
And there's this narrative like defund the police or something going around with. So that sounds a little counterintuitive.
The term. I mean, there was a lot of hatred about law enforcement, right? From I don't know, America, law enforcement has a very dark history.
Even the non-Americans are like, fuck American police. You don't even live in America. And you're like, fuck, they're rapping with
So I think like यो चाहिँ मान्छे कस्तो लाग्छ भने यो कुरा चाहिँ fuck the police भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ people everywhere, all the citizens, like even हामी नेपालको कन्टेक्स्टमा हामी नेपाली हौं, नेपालको कन्टेक्स्टमा मात्र कुरा गरौँ हैन, हाम्रो नेपालमा law enforcement officerहरु चाहिँ कति power abuse गर्नुहुन्छ नि. They stop people randomly. Source that I don't know, मलाई यहाँ कहिले पनि source गरेर थाहा छैन, तर मान्छेलाई कुट्ने, which is use of force, right? मान्छे एउटा के भन्छ, एउटा private citizen जसले हुन्छ नि आफ्नो देशमा राम्रोसँग बसिरहेछ हैन, त्यो मान्छेलाई रोकेर कुटेर त्यो हुन्छ नि like abuse हो के त्यो पावरको हैन. मान्छेलाई त्यो एउटा ट्रस्टेड गरेर त्यो पुलिस अफिसरलाई त्यो पोजिसनमा राखेको हुन्छ नि त. And if that person हुन्छ नि violates somebody's human rights भनौँ, human rights basic rights, everybody feels, सबै मान्छेलाई त्यो violation feel हुन्छ क्या, and they have this general hatred towards law enforcement. And it's true for here, it's true for everywhere else, I think. Like, or this one झनै हुन्छ होला, इन्डियामा झनै हुन्छ होला. I mean, and it's very true to United States.
Bro, like next level.
India's law enforcement. I mean, Nepal, so I mean, there are rogue officers, rogue cops everywhere. Okay, you have questions? I'm sorry, I got off track.
Promotion कसरी हुन्छ?
Hey, promotion कसरी हुन्छ? So, law enforcement, it's मलाई चाहिँ even like my family members, they ask me, like, यता त अब like अब तपाईँ officer भयो भने you start as a के भन्छ SP, ISP, inspector, right? Inspector सुरु गर्छ है. उता चाहिँ हाम्रो त्यस्तो हुँदैन. Everybody who go through the program, they're all officer initially. The only time your rank comes into play is when you want to do administrative work. So your rank is solely administrative. It has no bearing in terms of what type of power costumes. Every from chief भनेको चाहिँ हाम्रो चाहिँ अब यताको IG भन्छ हैन, from chief down के भन्छ, everybody they all have same authority, they all have same powers. मेरो like if I'm यदि म कुनै म बाहिर हिँडिरहेको छु भने I am the boss. I mean, obviously your chief is the boss, but like मेरो chiefले आएर मलाई मैले कसैलाई सलाम ठोकेर मैले त्यस्तो भनेको त्यस्तो गर्नुपर्ने त्यस्तो हुँदैन के. I take म मेरो गाडीमा
सलाम ठोक.
अनि बसी.
यहाँ चाहिँ गाडीहरु पास हुँदा पनि बिचारा.
Yeah. So we don't have that culture, which is nice. त्यस्तो ranking so usually ranks are sergeant, which is your team ko supervisor, right? अनि अर्को छ भनेको तपाईको lieutenant, which is the squadron ko supervisor. The captain, then what's a bureau ko supervisor. So you have training bureau, अथवा you have violent crime, you have operational bureau,
homicide.
I mean, investigation bureau, right? So bureaus are saying it's an administrative position. So there's a captain or it's a smaller agency ma deputy chief or
so prison ko चाहिँ head चाहिँ को हुन्छ?
कसको?
The one where you work.
It's operational bureau हैन. त्यसको नि एउटा क्याप्टेन हुन्छ because अनि त्यो भन्दा उसको तल चाहिँ lieutenant हुन्छ. He is like a assistant भनौं न to the captain. अनि उनीहरु चाहिँ बाहिर कहिले पनि जाँदैन के. They don't no investigation, no police work for them. It's basically paper chasing, like उनीहरु paper trails. उनीहरु खाली के भन्छ working with के भन्छ public, working with city, working with the state, working with के भन्छ attorneys, working with public defender, prosecutors. Where comes this matter?
Detective is a कहिले हुन्छ?
So detective, like most agencies, I'm
actually detective movies are like one of my favorite genres.
So detectives or चाहिँ कसरी हुन्छ भने so you start at least this is true for the state of California हैन. सबैजना officerहरु they have to put in at least 3 years of time before they can apply for different units. So detectives are investigators. About you can be detective for violent crimes or property crimes. I know, or homicide is probably the top detectives or top tier ma पर्छ हैन.
BNE
कस्तो रे?
Breaking and entering
त्यो चाहिँ हामी चाहिँ त्यो पनि लाइक त्यो चाहिँ अब हाम्रो चाहिँ SWAT हरुले गर्छ हाम्रो SWAT units अथवा हाम्रो चाहिँ कुनै एजेन्सीमा मर्ज भन्छ violent crime unitहरु त्यस्तो गर्छ. कुनै एजेन्सीमा चाहिँ अब warrants को लागि नै छुट्टै युनिट बना हुन्छ depending on how violent the city is, right? So त्यो चाहिँ तपाईको initial 3 years सकिसकेपछि you have to apply within the agency के एजेन्सीमा apply गर्यो अनि पछि you have to test अनि they will के भन्छ you have to go through the के भन्छ oral interview process and they will see the type of the cases you worked on, how many cases have been adjudicated, how many violence felony you have arrested, how many people you have arrested have been prosecuted. सबै कुराहरु हेर्छ स्ट्याट्सहरु हेर्छ अनि अब if the bureau thinks that okay you're going to be an asset to the bureau as an investigator, because investigator will come here to bring justice to the case, right? You investigate a crime, you make sure any criminals get prosecuted, victims or they say they get justice. If त्यो गर्ने ability तिमीमा छ भने they will pick in you have to demonstrate that ability. त्यो भइसकेपछि चाहिँ you get picked अनि पछि it's usually 4-year assignment. You're के भन्छ तपाई के भन्छ you never have to put on a uniform, you always carry your badge, you put on a suit,
trench coat.
Trench coat. Right? Okay. If you want to put those fancy you can, but usually detectives are saying
you're a sheriff and why do we have to wear those weird hats?
So
the local
on the sheriffs or कस्तो हो भने sheriff's department are also peace officers and peace officer भन्छ. So sheriffs are चाहिँ county को उता चाहिँ कस्तो हुन्छ भने हाम्रो चाहिँ county like state भयो, state को तल चाहिँ अर्को सानो भनेको county हुन्छ. हाम्रो चाहिँ त कस्तो हुन्छ जिल्ला महानगरपालिका अनि ओडा हुन्छ नि. उता चाहिँ county हामी के भन्छ state बाट county बाट cities हरु हुन्छ के. counties को भित्र कतिवटा cities हुँदैन के जहाँ चाहिँ अब city नभएपछि त पुलिस अफिसर नहुने भयो. मैले अघि बिगिनिङमा भने जस्तै पुलिस there are city governmentले पुलिस बनाउँछ अनि पछि अब जहाँ मान्छेहरू जुन चाहिँ सिटीको लिमिटभित्र बस्दैन कति सहरहरू चाहिँ आफ्नै सिटी हुँदैन क्या त्यहाँ चाहिँ काउन्टीको गभर्नेन्स चल्छ क्या त्यहाँ चाहिँ काउन्टीको रुलहरू काउन्टीले चाहिँ वी डु हेभ टु प्रोभाइड ल इन्फोर्समेन्ट सर्भिस टु रेजिडेन्ट्स हु लिभ बियोन्ड काउन्टीको लिमिटबाट सिटीको लिमिटबाट अनि त्यसको लागि चाहिँ त्यो चाहिँ कसले गर्छ त्यो चाहिँ सेरिफ्सहरूले गर्छ सेरिफ्सहरूले दे रन जेल्स दे रन हस्पिटल्स दे रन कोर्ट्स किनभने त्यहाँ कोर्ट्समा पनि पुलिस के भन्छ अफिसरहरू हुन्छ
they're like elected
हजुर
elected types
sheriff चाहिँ elected हो the sheriff himself or herself is elected that's the only elected official है law enforcement मा चाहिँ अनि उसले चाहिँ अरू सबै उसको डेपुटिजहरू हुन्छ उसको चाहिँ लाइक राइट ह्यान्ड लेफ्ट ह्यान्ड भनौँ न त्यस्तो चाहिँ उसले चाहिँ अपोइन्ट गर्ने हो क्या शेरिफले चाहिँ आफ्नो पावर चाहिँ अरूलाई दिने हो क्या सो शेरिफ हिमसेल्फ इज इलेक्टेड यस ही क्यानट बी फायर्ड उसलाई चाहिँ कसैले फायर गर्नुपर्छ अब उसले कि रिजाइन गर्नु पऱ्यो उसको आफ्नो टर्म सकिनु पऱ्यो टर्म इज युजली 6 years 4 years however long it is
Bro, I've seen a bunch of videos man, like when cops and all they say I invoke the fifth.
Okay, so Fifth Amendment is topic basically. So there are a bunch of amendments.
Bro, यो चाहिँ अमेरिका पुलिस नै हुनु गएको रहेछ घरमा भन्दै हो यसलाई अब
Oh no first thing that's cops is working साथै I invoke my fifth. So Fifth Amendment एउटा clause or संविधानको एउटा clause that basically तपाईलाई चाहिँ त्यो Fifth Amendment चाहिँ gives you the right from self incrimination like तपाईले आफूलाई कसैले के भन्छ के तपाईलाई इन्क्रिमिनेटिङ क्वेसन सोध्यो भने I don't want to answer I don't want to incriminate myself
So they can use it against you खाले भन्नु
Yeah so तपाईले हरेक ल इन्फोर्समेन्टलाई भनेको कुराहरू हरेक कुराहरू they can exactly right that's a term that's a movie it's a very famous term anything that you say will be used against you in court of law भन्ने कुराहरू
the right to remain silent
exactly so you have the right to remain silent there Fifth Amendment so officer is basically saying you can invoke your Fifth Amendment which is your right to not self-incriminate हैन आफूलाई मैले गल्ती गरेको भन्नु पर्दैन because you also have right to speedy trial to go to the court process and to prove yourself innocent so म के पनि भन्दिन मलाई थुन्दे I'll go through court म जजसँग मेरो कुरा म जजलाई भन्छु I will fight this case and I'll prove my innocence त्यो भन्नु खोजेको in a nutshell
so you can basically like stay quiet during the investigative process.
You can police officer you can basically say fuck you and I'm not going to say anything and they can't do anything
and
they can't make you talk
fuck you
they'll beat the fifth out of you
and त्यो लाइनमा त्यस्तो छ नि के anything you have the right to remain silent anything you say will be used
against you in the
court of law
yeah
भन्यो भने अब तपाईले मलाई भेटाए रे हैन रेड ह्यान्डेड मर्डर गरेको हैन अब हातले रगत छैन अनि मैले कसम गरेको हैन मैले फिफ्थ भने पनि हैन कसम दाजु मैले गरेको हैन
त्यो त तपाईले यस्तो भन्यो so I mean there's a complex issue in itself in and of itself right because मैले तपाईलाई मर्डर गरेको देखि जस्तो भनेछ त I witnessed you committing a crime right
so I red handed मात्रै like you didn't see me like I could be helping the person and my hands are bloody and
you can say you can still invoke your fifth तपाई चुप्पो लागेर के पनि नभन्न सक्छ के तपाईले मान्छेलाई मारेको भए पनि you have due process भन्छ हैन तपाईं you will go through the same के भन्छ court process हैन तपाईको judicial system मा you go through the same process you get तपाईलाई स्टेटले तपाईलाई lawyer पनि दिन्छ फ्रीमा right फ्रीमा which are public defenders के भन्छ अनि prosecutors they usually work with law enforcement prosecutorले charges file गर्छ public defender will defend you which is your state sponsored lawyer अनि पछि त्यही हो कोर्टमा केस प्रेजेन्ट हुन्छ you have your chance to prove yourself innocent prosecutor will के भन्छ have the opportunity to prove you guilty अनि जजलाई त्यो दुवै कुराले भनेर अनि जज will make the ultimate decision तर युजुअली यस्तो हाई प्रोफाइल केसमा चाहिँ they will have jury हैन जुरी हुन्छ अनि जुरीले अनि पछि के भन्छ you're basically saying hey citizens you know of this के भन्छ of this city county state whoever these people are these are the facts हैन basically हामी त इमोसनमा जाने हैन these are the facts xyz भयो थियो उले यसो गरेको थियो अनि तपाईको अब क्रिमिनलले पनि हामीले he get opportunity to के भन्छ present himself juryमा पनि अनि यस्तो भएको कारणले चाहिँ he should be prosecuted अनि के भन्छ criminal चाहिँ this is why I should be हुन्छ नि अब मलाई फ्री गर्नुपर्छ भने दुवैजनाको तर्फबाट कुरा राखिसकेपछि चाहिँ they will make a decision अनि त्यो कुरा चाहिँ जजले दिन्छ अनि judge will ठोकेर sentence.
So does the Fifth Amendment only work with American citizens or international मान्छेहरुलाई?
Fifth अमेरिकामा ल्यान्ड गरिसकेपछि that's a good question, right? Because a lot of people, I mean, international मान्छेहरु जान्छ नि, there's this के भन्छ the unreasonable phobia हुन्छ नि, the नाजायज हुन्छ नि, डर के पुलिससँग. Zero need for that. You don't have to be afraid with law enforcement. I mean, you do, right? And it comes out of respect because you respect the authority, you respect the law. त्यहाँबाट आउने हो नि त fear भन्ने कुरा. Not because they can arrest you.
But it actually starts from your what do you call those? Home department ko huncha ni. Like when you go to America, कतिवटा ठाउँहरुमा त्यो
immigration.
Yeah.
They have America ko आफ्नै immigration people that look after your processing it. Like if you go through Doha.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And
there's like
I'm a citizen. Yeah.
America they have their own department there.
Yeah.
Like do your entry and stuff.
That is
like
true.
That
is true.
You have to go through you have to look into the camera, do all that shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's about for a Nepali person or any other person from. I mean, you have to only relax on the.
Yeah.
And then like going through all that process, to stern khale. I think you develop a certain amount of fear.
Yeah. I mean, first, तपाईं एउटा foreign land मा जाँदै हुनुहुन्छ. So there is that त्यो के भन्छ natural thing for you to be fearful of things that you do not understand, things that you do not know, हैन. अनि obviously अब movie मा देखाउँछ अनि you go through त्यस्तो खाले हुन्छ नि like discrimination त हैन, but obviously differences, right? अनि it's very natural. तर I've noticed and there was time मैले पनि like अब uninformed भएपछि and you त्यो तपाईको हेर्सेको कुराहरु सुन्न थाल्यो भने नि you get even more के भन्छ paranoid and anxious about law police officer देखेर के नकै पनि गल्ती गरे हुँदैन भए पनि like त्यो के भन्छ like एउटा fear के. So no, anybody who step तपाईको American soil त्यो अमेरिकनको soilमा अमेरिकामा they are afforded the same rights minus some like vote गर्न मिल्दैन यताउति
बन्दुक किन्न मिल्दैन यस्तो rights बाहेक they are afforded the same right as an American citizen. Same right. Fifth Amendment, Fourth Amendment, First Amendment, Second Amendment, Second Amendment, yeah. Bearing arms. Some state, I don't know, I have to look into that. Some state like ke garcha hai. Maybe Second Amendment. I have to के भन्छ Second Amendment. तपाईं बस्ने अहिले स्टेटमा चाहिँ कस्तो छ?
In terms of Second Amendment?
What state are you in right now?
The state of California.
California, like with the guns.
State of excitement.
Bro, California, since weed is legal, how do you deal with pot smokers?
So weed is legal for recreational use, okay? People often get it mixed up. You can smoke karma, just like alcohol. But if you smoke in Baira, you get ticket
I mean, in New York, you're legally allowed to carry 3 ounces.
Yeah, I'm पनि well, ounces of gram is confusing. Kati gram, kati ounces.
Iti.
So यत्रो सानो पोगासम्म भयो त ठिक छ. त्यो भन्दा बेसी छ भने चाहिँ जेल लाने हो.
Okay, so
fifth.
I plead my fifth. Yeah. So I know यस्तो हुन्छ. So यदि मैले चाहिँ अब you deal with this every day, all day, so many times, है. So मान्छेले उनीहरुको चाहिँ California जब marijuana legalized गर्यो, there was a lot of outcry to नभनौँ हैन, but pushback from law enforcement के, because अब मान्छेहरु there is अब म चाहिँ personally I have nothing against it, but there are people who still believe, and I don't know, because lack of information, of a resentment, whatever उनीहरुको के भन्छ resentment comes from, they still believe that marijuana is a gateway to other drugs, right? So I don't know how true is that. Have I seen people who use marijuana and progress into other kind of drugs? Yes. Is that true for everybody? I don't think so. Mansiko personal choice. So जब California marijuana legal गर्यो, there was a lot of pushback from conservative side, like I'm like left right, I'm right side, but there was a lot of pushback to change that. It basically decriminalized a lot of things. Mansiko like literally they've been prison system, they went through prison for having X amount of weed. Prison so the moment they उनीहरुले त्यो legalize गर्यो हैन त्यसको fear भएन अनि अहिले चाहिँ अब यति बोक्न पाउँछ.
So what about people who were locked up पहिला because of marijuana and they are still in
त्यो
jail?
त स्टेटमा अर्कै रुल्स होला नि
State-ma. So there, I think there are.
क्यालिफोर्निया भनेको
I know California saw. I think so far there are 15 states.
Kim
or-
Kardashian निकाल्दैछ त
कस्तो रे?
Kim Kardashian निकाल्दैछ त मान्छेहरु she was
ट्रम्प हुँदा मात्रै
Yeah, so पहिला so पहिला चाहिँ अब there were so many people who were criminalized because उनीहरूले X amount of marijuana they had in person or they were traveling with it, or they were trying to sell, right? They're still serving because they committed the crime at the time when it was it was illegal. So there are people there are a member of a legislative body who are working very actively to help these people who were convicted when marijuana was illegal, and now that it is legal. त्यो मान्छेलाई चाहिँ उनीहरूलाई free गराउनलाई they are working गरिरहेको छ, but it's an uphill battle भनौँ न. It's a very uphill battle. It takes a lot of it's a big
I have a
legal
question,
battle.
sorry.
Yes.
Since talking about prison, अमेरिकामा त प्रिजनहरु फेरि प्राइभेट ओन हुँदो रहेछ हैन?
Yeah.
Like how does that work? Like you'd expect the prison to be government run.
I have no clue. So prison system is run by there's a body of peace officer. They also have police power, but usually कसैको हुँदैन. So they are called correctional officers. अनि there is semi-law enforcement body that deals with prison system.
No, I'm not trying to get you in trouble and stuff.
I know. All this information are very publicly available.
I am concerned. I'm curious because if it's a private owned firm, right?
Yeah.
Like the business is to keep the prisoners in, no? Like
Yeah.
you're making money. I don't know how you get the money.
So
but
I think
you're
that's,
flourishing if it's packed.
I think that's true for any anything in corporate America and by the money. I think त्यो कुराहरु.
But like this is we're talking about enclosing someone in.
I know, and as sad and inhumane as it is, that's just the reality, at least America मा चाहिँ है. कस्तो हुन्छ अब state funded prison चाहिँ पहिला चाहिँ यति धेरै अब उनीहरूले they didn't realize कि अब prison population is gonna it has own अब पहिला हिस्ट्री कोट्याउने हो भने पहिला prison system मा मान्छेहरु अब कालो मान्छेलाई त्यहाँ राख्थ्यो, black population लाई त्यहाँ राख्थ्यो, के भन्छ अब त्यस्तो कुराहरु it's a whole different के भन्छ rabbit hole है. अनि तर like just तिमीले भनेको कुरा गर्नु पर्दाखेरि so prison population यसै धेरै boom भयो कि अब अमेरिकामा it was difficult for a state to के भन्छ have all these people के भन्छ like एउटा ठाउँमा sorry I know, and I have all these people के भन्छ एउटा ठाउँमा के it was just too much. So उनीहरूले के गरे उनीहरूले चाहिँ they allowed private they allowed private investor to compete. अनि पछि okay ल तिमीहरूले prison system खोल्यो भने we'll give you I don't know $2,000 per prisoner every month or 3 months or कति जति पैसा दिए पनि because state ले दिन्छ क्या, and all you have to do is house, feed, and provide some recreational activity to these prisoners as long as उनीहरूको के भन्छ जहिलेसम्म बस्ने हो भन्यो. अनि पछि okay people saw money in it, prisons pop up हुन थाल्यो, अनि that kind of हुन्छ नि pushed अब मान्छेले prisons अब private entity ले त्यो अब बन्न थालेपछि they lobby मान्छे के भन्छ गभर्नमेन्टमा okay you have to make this illegal अनि पछि this drug illegal यो illegal, अनि पछि त्यो कुरा will trickle down to अब law enforcement मा, अनि जहाँबाट जे law भएर आछ so we have to enforce, right? Because at the end of the day we're lawmen, हैन? We enforce law. That's our primary duty. We serve public, but at the same time we have to make sure that the laws are being followed. हामी त्यहाँ मान्छेलाई समात्छ, prosecute गर्छ, prison मा जान्छ. So it's a cycle.
तिम्रो ट्याटुले चाहिँ प्रब्लम भएन to get into it?
मेरो ट्याटुले it was initially it was के भन्छ यो चाहिँ प्रब्लम भएको थियो. यतिसम्म त अब म युनिफर्म लाउँदाखेरि यति समय छ हैन,
इन्जिनियर हुँदा बनाएको
इन्जिनियर हुँदा बनाएको क्रिएटिभ हुन खोजेको. सो मेरो चाहिँ सानोमा सुरु गर्दा चाहिँ I had to cover it, मैले यसरी कभर गर्थेँ, अनि यो पनि कभर गर्थेँ, अनि पछि फुल युनिफर्म फुल स्लिभ लाउँथेँ हैन, यहाँ पनि लाइक एउटा ब्यान्डेड लाउँथेँ, यहाँ पनि एउटा ब्यान्डेड लाउँथेँ. अनि अहिलेको अहिले चाहिँ अब एजेन्सिजहरू चाहिँ they understand that tattoo किन गर्छ र हैन, it's more accepting of
unless it's like gang related or something.
Unless it's gang related or अथवा any के भन्छ
tear drop back.
derogatory छ भने हैन targeted towards certain minority group मान्छेहरूले स्वास्तिका बनाउँछ यस्तो बनाउँछ हैन fuck the police like भन्न सक्छ you never know they उनीहरूले के भन्छ when you go through the hiring process उनीहरूले तपाईलाई सबै tattoo को photo लिएर they actually analyze it they put it through the database that matches के भन्छ एउटा ग्याङहरुको सबै नराम्रो कुराको tattoosहरुको database हुन्छ they
नेपालको ग्याङ भएको चाहिँ उनीहरुको
नेपालको ग्याङै हो रे यस्तो कुरा त भन्नु हैन
के रे के भन्नु थियो मैले बिर्से यार
Have you ever gone in for like questioning or
कस्तो क्वेशनिङ भन्नाले
sometimes they bring in suspects and you play like good cop bad cop खाले हुन्छ नि
That's what the detectives are like, no?
Oh, those are detectives. So I'm always say I'm a beat cop basically. I patrol beats and I make arrests.
You sharing your story if it's okay the gun bust okay that was pretty intense.
So के भन्छ मेरो चाहिँ त्यो फर्स्ट so तपाईँ beat cop को चाहिँ त्यो भन्दा अगाडि म just gonna beat cop को भन्छु because I think it's much smoother transition भन्दाखेरि so beat सबैजना copsहरु when they graduate from the academy they're all assigned a beat उनीहरुको primary job भनेको you handle all the 911 calls that come through your beat you make suspicious person stop to see hey यो मान्छे like ठिक छ कि छैन हैन is he के भन्छ अहिले illegal activity drug activity केमा केही कुरा गर्न लाग्छ कि छैन that's our job we stop suspicious vehicle हैन all the time because मान्छेहरुले they drive मापसे हाम्रो मापसे DUI हुन्छ हैन हामीले मान्छे गाडी कसो चलाइरहेछ we need reasonable suspicion भन्छ or probable cause भन्छ those are two terms है त्यो दुटा नभइकन के पनि गर्न मिल्दैन but basically हाम्रो duties primary duty भनेको चाहिँ we handle papers we write reports we do preliminary investigations for major crimes but full investigation for minor crimes and we push all the investigation to a detective bureau and gets assigned to depending on the type of the crime violent crimes when violent like a detectives investigator property crimes when property crimes investigator गर्न जान्छ हैन अनि there was a time like के भन्छ अनि part of our job is we California gun legal छैन whether you carry it on person like तपाईको आफै बोकेर हिँड्नलाई पनि as long as तपाईको के भन्छ concealed carry license or permit भने दिन्छ के काउन्टीले दिन्छ त्यो चाहिँ त्यो छ भने चाहिँ you get to carry it हैन त्यो भएन भने चाहिँ nobody can beside cops nobody can carry a gun in the state of California but who does criminals do they don't give a shit about what the law says right so मेरो first के भन्छ मैले when my first encounter was with the gun was I saw एउटा गाडी expired tap भएको चलाए which is a proper cause हामीले अब गाडी expired tap भएको गाडी चलाइरहेछ भने we can stop right त्यो license plate मा त्यो हरेक वर्ष registration तिर्छ नि हामीले यहाँ पनि तिर्छ नि त्यहाँ चाहिँ त्यो tabs त्यो ट्याग हाल्नुपर्छ कि मैले रेजिस्ट्रेसन तिरेछ यो वर्ष मैले यो गाडी चलाउन भ्यालिड हुन्छ भनेर लाइसेन्स प्लेटमा एउटा ट्याग हुन्छ क्या इयर र मन्थको सो त्यो एक्सपायर देख्यो भने त मैले त यो मान्छेले त के भन्छ तिरेको करै तिरेछन् रहेछ इलाज रोकेर टिकट लेख्नु पर्यो भनेर सोच्दै हैन करै तिरेछन् रहेछ भनेर बिकज द्याट्स आवर जब राइट बिकज उसले त स्टेटलाई त लुकीछुपी गरेर रहेछ नि त कोही मान्छेले गऱ्यो भने त स्टेटले पैसा पाउँदैन रोड बनाउँदैन हुन्छ नि देन इट्स वी टर्न इन्टु हुन्छ नि ब्याकवर्ड राइट अनि युजुअली अरू कसले जस्तो गर्दैन people who are criminals who are lazy हुन्छ नि तिनीहरूले पनि गर्दैन
or if it's a stolen car
or a stolen car right or मान्छे they use fake plates हैन there's so many things so हाम्रो चाहिँ युजुअली के गर्छ we हाम्रो कम्प्युटर हुन्छ गाडीमै हाम्रो चाहिँ त्यो डेटाबेस हाम्रो डिपार्टमेन्ट अफ जस्टिस डेटाबेस हुन्छ हाम्रो FBI डेटाबेस हुन्छ अनि हाम्रो डिपार्टमेन्ट अफ मोटर भेहिकल त्यसको डेटाबेस हुन्छ हामीले त्यो नम्बर प्लेट हाल्छले हामी त्यो गाडीको पुरै हिस्ट्री देख्छ क्या अब एकदम बेसिकली गाडी चलाइरहेको छ भने त you don't want to use your computer while driving right it's dangerous so हामीले चाहिँ रेडियोबाट भन्छ अनि रेडियोमा मैले यो गाडी देखिरहेको छु यो गाडीको नम्बर प्लेट ABC 123 whatever it is अनि डिस्प्याचले हामीलाई रिटर्न दिन्छ क्या यो गाडी यस्तो हो यसको मान्छेको एक्सपायर्ड भ्यालिड करेन्ट जे छ के छ यो चोरीको गाडी हो अथवा केमा आई मिन डिपेन्डिङ त्यो गाडीको के कन्डिसन छ त्यसको इन्फर्मेसन आउँछ नि त्यो मेरो त्यो मैले रन गरेको प्लेट चाहिँ एक्सपायर थियो मैले रोकेँ अनि पछि गएँ अनि पछि राति थियो राति टाइम अब अभियसली यु हेभ यो फ्ल्यास लाइट अनि पछि अँध्यारो छ नि त अनि पछि विन्डो टिन थियो मैले तल गर भने तल गरेँ मैले फर्स्ट थिङ तल गरेदेखि साथै आई स फ्लोर त्यो तपाईँको सेन्टर कन्सोल र फ्लोर तपाईँको फ्लोर बेडमा तपाईँको फायरमा चाहिँ उसको क्या तपाईँको त्यो यो लाइक ओ शिट दिस इज this is my हुन्छ नि
Shit just got real.
yeah, shit just got real. I'm either gonna get shot or this guy's gonna get shot भन्ने जस्तो हुन्छ नि त, right? Because there's a gun and then त्यो अघि हामीले कुरा गरेको थियो नि, making a decision, right? So either he's gonna grab that gun and shoot at me because San Joseमा मैले काम गरेको एजेन्सीमा multiple cops got shot in head उनीहरूको like point blank rangeमा when they उनीहरूले traffic stopमा त्यस्तो traffic stopमा क्या. So like त्यो oh like I gotta like हुन्छ नि get my shit together भन्ने जस्तो भयो. You pull out your firearm and you challenge the person right away, okay? Like, hey, I see your firearm right there, हैन? If you move तेरो हात move गरेर त्यसमा छुन मात्र खोजिस् भने I'm gonna fuck you up भन्ने जस्तो कुरा. So you obviously you challenge that person अनि पछि you already पनि भन्नु पर्यो नि त, मैले I got one at gunpoint, like मैले एकजनालाई चाहिँ गन देखाइरहेको छु है, things can get serious. I might end up shooting this guy or this guy might end up shooting me. भन्ने कुरा हुन्छ. It was a के भन्छ your adrenaline kicking in, you're तपाईँको like you're hyper हुन्छ नि like हाम्रो tunnel vision भन्छ क्या, like you're hyper focused, right? अनि you're stressed out, you breathing heavy, अनि obviously तपाईँको अब तपाईँले त्यो radio traffic put out गर्नु साथै everybody सबैले सुनिरहन्छ, हामीले रेडियोमा बोलेको everybody सबैले सुन्छ अनि सबैजना कोथ्री बज्यो है. I mean eventually त्यस्तो केही पनि भएन, but that was my first के भन्छ gun off the street. त्यस्तो हुन्छ क्या.
Was he a criminal or something?
Of course, he committed a big crime by having a gun when के भन्छ उसको पर्सनमा.
It's illegal नि त.
It's illegal to own त गर्नु मिल्छ कि, तर to have it loaded when you're driving कसले गर्छ, criminal intent भएकै मान्छेले त गर्छ त्यस्तो कुराहरू हैन. So
that was like a one-off thing.
What was that?
That was like a one-time thing.
But in Texas, it's
I
a
know,
whole different
like,
scene.
I've had before too. Yeah, I've had before too. Like मेरो साथीहरुको पनि गर्छु. So यतिको सर्च गर्दा भेटाएको छु मैले हैन. It was not के भन्छ मेरो one-time deal. People carry firearm all the time. उतातिर कस्तो भन्न खोजेको तिमी? I'm sorry.
But in Texas, it's a different thing because you are legally allowed to own it.
So own भन्दाखेरि you cannot loaded हुनु हुँदैन के. So there is so loaded हुँदाखेरि चाहिँ तपाईको firearmमा there is one round in chamber हैन. अनि के भन्छ त्यो चाहिँ हुनु हुँदैन. So you can still own a gun. तपाईको magazine तपाईको firearmमा तपाईको magazine inserted भए पनि तपाईले rack गर्दाखेरि तपाईको एउटा magazine pull गरेर तपाईको chamberमा जान्छ नि, त्यो भयो भने चाहिँ yeah त्यो भयो चाहिँ it's still illegal. I don't think you can do that because at that point तपाईको firearm त your loaded छ नि, तपाईको trigger दबायो भने त it's done, right?
So पछि like when you त्यो encounter सकेपछि and you realize that person को chamber is not loaded, so that's cool.
हैन. It was loaded. He was a criminal having a firearm.
And if it wasn't loaded. So
yeah, on the state of California it's illegal to have a firearm loaded unloaded. हाम्रो स्टेटमा चाहिँ हाम्रो राज्यमा चाहिँ the only way you can transport carry पनि हैन transport your firearm तपाईको magazine तपाईको bullets त तपाईको बन्दुकभित्र हुनु भएन हैन. यो तपाईको you cannot have a round inside the chamber. त्यो magazine हुनु भएन, round को त परै जाओस् हैन. तपाईको सेपरेट भएर तपाईको लक बक्समा लक गरेर तपाईको ट्रङ्कमा हुनुपर्छ. That's the
California has one of the most gun violence in after Chicago.
Yeah. We मैले त्यही भनेको थिएँ like के भन्छ हाम्रो there are some cities in the state of California that are extremely violent. Extremely. When I say violent, Oakland भन्ने एउटा सिटी छ म बसेको, म चाहिँ अहिले San Pablo भन्ने सहरमा बस्छु. Oakland भन्ने is like 10 minutes away. It's a beautiful city. But Oakland, I think अस्ति भर्खर they had their 105th homicide. एउटा city मा त like 1 million 1 लाख पनि छैन के मान्छेहरु. 10 लाख 1 million 10 लाख पनि मान्छे छैन हैन. They had their 105th homicide, yeah. Like gun firearm related. एउटा city मा त म बस्ने ठाउँमा I think they are like 2015. हजुर?
In a year.
मैले ओकल्यान्ड भन्ने सहरमा चाहिँ मेरो सहरमा पनि हुन्छ हुन त कति हुन्छ तर ओकल्यान्ड भनेको एउटा भाइलेन्ट सिटी हो क्या, एकदमै भाइलेन्ट.
कति टाइम फ्रेममा? 1 वर्षमा?
आका 1 वर्षमा कति महिना भयो अहिले, कुन मन्थ हो
Within this
October
year, right?
Yeah, only this year. So they recorded उनीहरुको चाहिँ त्यो चाहिँ के भन्छ, I think it was the highest उनीहरुको last
Is
decade
it
मा.
mostly like gang related or?
Mostly gang related. अब कुनै चाहिँ like अब gang related नभए पनि like अब I don't know, like angry neighbor shot example.
Road rage,
yeah. Road raging मा एकदमै धेरै हुन्छ.
ए हो.
Yeah, road raging पनि is yeah.
Cool बस्नु पर्ने रहेछ.
Sorry that.
I know. Yeah.
एउटा भिडियो छ नि, it's like this guy he's just driving around and it's उसकै भिडियो perspective.
Yeah.
And then I think he cut off some guy or something होला अर्को मान्छे चाहिँ he overtakes
Yeah.
sideबाट आउँछ and
Yeah.
he's like shouting yeah fuck you
Yeah.
and then he's just like sipping on his यस्तो गनमा and the other guy just like hits
Yeah.
the brake yeah
Yeah, road races are एकदमै dangerous कुरा
So if it's illegal to own a gun in California, then how do they buy it?
own हैन you can own a firearm हैन you cannot carry it
घरमा चाहिँ राख्नु मिल्छ
घरमा त राख्नुपर्छ
राख्नुपर्छ हो।
राख्नै पर्छ घरमा त especially like we've had के भन्छ so many home invasions like recent के भन्छ monthsमा
pop smoke
हजुर
sorry pop smoke
pop yeah exactly right so pop smoke पनि I mean so many मान्छेहरू कति हुन्छ प्लस तपाईँको अब सेफ्टीको हिसाबमा पनि अब it's easy to buy a firearm easy to नभनौँ it takes 10 दिन लाग्छ तपाईँको ब्याकग्राउन्ड सकिनलाई अनि पछि as long as you don't have anything criminal.
Have you ever had to arrest a Nepali person?
That's a good question because I यस्तो कुरा त भन्नु हुँदैन यहाँ हैन तर लाइक के भन्छ
नेपालीमा भन्ने हो कि?
नेपालीमा भन्ने कुरा छ यो कुरा चाहिँ म पुरै नेपालीमा
Please, यो सेक्सन नेपाली
So this is an interesting story, okay? यो चाहिँ एकदमै फनी पनि छ यो स्टोरी त्यति फनी छैन होला के भयो भने सो म एक दिन क्रिसमसको दिन काम गरेको थिएँ क्रिसमसको इभको दिन थियो पानी परिरहेको थियो सेम पानी परिरहेको थियो म ठ्याक्क अफ हुन लाग्थेँ म 12 बजे अफ हुन 2 बजे काम सकेर सुरु गरेर 12 बजे अफ हुन्छ अनि पछि अफ हुन लाग्थ्यो अनि पछि एक्सिडेन्ट भएको एउटा कल आयो क्या एक्सिडेन्ट भएको कल आयो अनि पछि के भन्छ मैले मेरो के भन्छ मलाई डिस्प्याच गरिहाल्यो यो मेरो नजिकै एक्सिडेन्ट भएको छ मैले डिस्प्याच गरेर मैले मेरो डिस्प्याचरलाई म कोथ्री जान लाग्छु भने म अब के भन्छ मेरो लाइसेन्स साइड बारेर म हाई स्पिडमा जान लाग्छु भने बिकज अभियसली एक्सिडेन्टमा मान्छे इन्भल्भ छ भनेपछि त आइ एम ट्रेन्ड के भन्छ लाइफ सेभिङ मेजर्सहरू कुनै कुरा गर्न आउँछ प्लस मेरो द्याट्स माई ड्युटी राइट आई हेभ टु गेट देयर फास्ट भन्ने कुरा भयो अनि पछि म गयो एउटा गाडी यसरी त्यो 4 वे जङ्सनमा छ होइन एउटा गाडी यसरी पल्टिरहेको छ अनि एउटा गाडीले यसरी हालेर एउटा गाडी यसरी फर्किरहेको छ क्या मैले फर्स्ट थिङ आई नोटिस इज अ मदर लाइक सानो यङ लाइक एउटा यङ फिमेल वाइ लेटर फाउन्ड आउट पछि गएर चाहिँ मैले एउटा आमा भन्ने थाहा पाएँ मैले सोधेँ तिमीले एउटा गाडी चलाएको यो गाडी चलाएको भने मैले यो गाडी चाहिँ मेरो हो अर्को मान्छेको यो पल्टेको गाडी चाहिँ अर्को मान्छेको हो भने भनेपछि मैले तिमीलाई ठिक छ केही भएको छ भने मलाई केही पनि भएको छैन होइन त्यो चाहिँ गोरी केटी त्यो चाहिँ गोरी केटी मैले तिमीलाई केही भएको छ केही भएको छैन भने अनि पछि अनि त्यसपछि अनि अर्को त्यो गाडीको मान्छे त खोइ त्यो भने त्यो गाडीको मान्छे त्यही छ एउटा अर्को केटी हो भने मैले ओके ल तिमीसँग अर्को कोही फ्यामिली मेम्बर छ गाडीमा कोही फ्यामिलीमा थियो मेरो 6 महिनाको बच्चा छ भने क्या म त ओ सेट तिम्रो 6 महिनाको बच्चा केही भएको छ भने छैन भनेपछि तिम्रो के मेडिकल चाहिन्छ भने सो युजली हाम्रो चाहिँ एउटा पोलिसी छ कि लाइक सबैलाई सोध्नै पर्छ के भएको छ डु यु निड मेडिकल तिमीलाई के मेडिकल सर्भिस चाहिन्छ कि हुँदैन उनीहरूले डिनाई गर्यो भने चाहिँ इट विल लिभ्स मलाई चाहिँ त्यो लाइबिलिटी मलाई चाहिँ अर्को ड्राइभर रिलिभ गरिदिन्छ क्या होइन अनि के भन्छ नि उनीहरूले एउटा कागजपत्र गर्नुपर्छ त्यो गऱ्यो भनेपछि अनि मैले अर्को ड्राइभरलाई कुरा गर्न बिकज उनीहरूको फाइन पनि थियो उसको त्यो पल्टेको गाडी चाहिँ उसको होइन पल्टेको गाडी चाहिँ अर्को लगायो अनि उसले उसको अर्को मान्छे हो भने लाइक यसरी निउरेर बसिरहेको थियो मैले चाहिँ केटी देखिहालेँ मलाई चाहिँ हेर्दाखेरि चाहिँ अलिकति हाम्रो छिमेकी राष्ट्रको जस्तो लागेको थियो क्या अनि पछि
चाइना
भारत
चीन
ए म अलिकति स्पेसिफिक हुनुपर्ने हाम्रो पश्चिम दक्षिणको छिमेकी राष्ट्रको हुनुहुन्छ जस्तो लागेको थियो हेर्दाखेरि है मलाई पनि मान्छे त्यस्तै भन्दा छिमेकी राष्ट्रको मान्छे हो जस्तो भन्छ हेर्दाखेरि बट एनिवेज सो अनि पछि मैले अनि अब हाम्रो के भन्छ लाइसेन्स माग्छ नि त मैले मागेँ यसो नाम हेरेको त नेपाली जस्तो नाम के थियो मैले बिर्सेँ लास्ट नेम के थियो बट एनिवेज मैले नाम अहिले मैले दिमागमा बिर्सेँ बट लास्ट नेम जस्तो अनि पछि मैले त्यो लास्ट नेम चाहिँ हाम्रो छिमेकी राष्ट्रको मान्छेहरूको पनि हुन्छ कि त्यो लास्ट नेम भनेपछि शर्मा होइन भेरी एकदम सिमिलर हो मलाई एकछिनमा याद आउँछ अलि बिर्सेँ अनि पछि नेपालीमा बोल्नुभयो क्या उहाँ चाहिँ कापी राख्नु भएको छ क्या मेरो ढुङ्गेल भन्ने छ नि त अनि नेपालीमा बोल्नुभयो अनि पछि नेपालीमा बोल्नुभयो है के गर्नुभएको थियो होइन मैले यो के भन्छ तपाईँले चलाएर आउनुभएको यो गाडी भने मैले अब अङ्ग्रेजीमा सोधेँ अनि पछि हो भन्यो अनि पछि अनि मलाई चाहिँ लाग्यो कि नेपाली जस्तै लागिरहेको थियो नाम म अलिकति कन्फ्युज भयो कि नेपाली हो किन भनेर सो हाम्रो युजुअल के भन्छ प्रोटोकल भनौँ न युजली मैले एक्सिडेन्टमा चाहिँ हामीले चाहिँ के गर्छौँ भने हामीले चाहिँ प्याज गर्छौँ क्या त्यो तपाईँको त्यो हाम्रो मापसमा चेक गराउँछ नि त्यस्तो एउटा डिभाइस हुन्छ होइन त्यस्तो गराउँछौँ अनि पछि हामीले चाहिँ एउटा फिल्ड सोब्राइटी टेस्ट भन्छ कि त्यो हामी डिओमा गर्छ त्यो यस्तो यस्तो कुराहरू अगाडि गएर हिँड्ने अनि पछि बसेर फर्केर गन्ने त्यो गर्छौँ त्यो हामीले चाहिँ त्यसलाई चाहिँ फिल्ड सोब्राइटी एक्सर्साइज भन्छ बेसिकली डिटर्मिन्स वेदर नट दिस पर्सन इज वाज एबल टु ड्राइभ राइट इम्पेयर्ड भएको छ कि छैन भनेर हेर्नलाई त्यो गर्नु सक्थेँ पानी परेको थियो झमझम मैले भने चाहिँ पानी परेको थियो अनि बिचमा गाडी आएको थियो म चाहिँ के सोचेँ भने पहिला म चाहिँ लाइक गाडी यो चाहिँ सुल्टाइदिन्छु गाडी चाहिँ सुल्टाइदिन्छु सो द्याट यो बच्चा भएको आइमा चाहिँ ऊ जान सकोस् अनि त्यो सिन पनि फेरि मेजरमेन्ट लिएर अनि पछि के भन्छ क्रिसमस इको दिन मेजरमेन्ट लिएर अनि पछि मैले रिपोर्ट लेख्नुपर्छ क्या म अफ हुन लाग्थेँ कि म अनि पछि क्रिसमस इको दिन है आफू यहाँ अफ हुने बेलामा आफूलाई यहाँ केस इन्भेस्टिगेट गर्नु परिरहेको छ अनि पछि मैले यसो सोचेँ त्यो फेरि अफिसर डिस्क्रेसन हो क्या यो वेदर न यु वान के भन्छ त्यो मापछि गर्ने कि नगर्ने अनि पछि मैले होस् मैले गर्दिनँ भने मैले मनमा सोधेँ मैले तपाईँलाई अङ्ग्रेजीमै मैले तपाईँलाई के भन्छ घर जानुपर्छ तपाईँको लागि साधन गाडी छ भनेर भने अनि पछि छैन भने त एम्बुलेन्समा जाने भए म भनिदिन्छु तपाईँलाई भने म जान्दिनँ एम्बुलेन्समा भने पछि मैले तपाईँ मेरो साथीसँग जानुहुन्छ भने म मेरो साथीलाई भनिदिन्छु भनेर भने मैले अनि उसले हुन्छ भने क्या अनि पछि अनि मैले एकजना मेरो केटी अफिसर साथीलाई के भन्छ ऊ घर जान लाग्छ उसलाई घर जान्थेँ म मेरो सिन क्लियरकोबाट म सिन क्लियर गरेर मेजरमेन्ट लिएर म सबै के भन्छ यो फायरर्सहरू आएको थियो उनीहरू गाडी पल्टाएर टो गरेर लान्छ नि त टो गर्नुपर्छ गाडी होइन त्यो गर्छु भनेर भनेको थिएँ अनि पछि अनि उसलाई पठाइदिएँ सबै गयो म क्लिन्सिङ गरेँ अनि पछि उसलाई साइटेसन उसको चाहिँ गल्ती चाहिँ के थियो भने उसले येल्लोमा आएर रहेछ क्या कुदाएर आएर भए पनि उसलाई साइटेसन लेखेँ पछि पनि पठाउनु चाहिँ साइटेसन गएर रिपोर्ट सिपोर्ट सबै लेखेँ राति अलमोस्ट 1 घन्टा बसेर रिपोर्ट सिपोर्ट लेखेँ बसेँ घर जाँदाखेरि अलमोस्ट 2 बजिसकेको थियो क्रिसमस त सकिहाल्यो है सकिहाल्यो अनि घर गएँ अनि पछि सुतेँ भोलिपल्ट पनि मेरो काम थियो काम गइरहेको थिएँ गाडी चलाएर चाहिँ फोन आयो क्या एउटा नम्बरबाट यसो हेरेको चिन्दै चिनेन फोन नम्बर पछि अब उठाउनु पऱ्यो भने उठाएँ मैले हेलो भनेको भाइ को भाइ मैले पनि दाइ भनिदिएँ अनि पछि होइन अनि पछि हजुर दाइ भने चिन्यो भनेर भन्नुभयो क्या अब
कसरी चिन्नु
कस्तो है मान्छेहरू कस्तो विडम्बमा पारिदिनु हुन्छ क्या चिनेन भन्दाखेरि चिनेन मलाई भन्ला है चिन्यो भने नि को नम्बर सेभ गरेको छैन अनि पछि मैले अब अनेस्ट भएर दाइ मैले चिनिनँ भनेर भने के त हामी के भन्छ उता एलोमेरामा हामी पार्टीमा भेटेको थियौँ नि म विशाल दाइ भनेर भने पछि दाइको नाम चाहिँ विशाल हो विशाल दाइहरू मलाई कराउँछ होला अहिले
कपलाई कहाँ कराउनु सक्छ
अनि पछि के भन्छ हिजोको त भाउजू हो नि भन्नुभयो क्या म त के भनेको दाइ त्यो हिजोको उहाँ त भाउजू हो नि भनेपछि म नि
विशेष विशाल
अब कस्तो है अब के भन्छ भाउजू अनि पछि सो मैले आफ्टर द फ्याक्ट होइन त्यो कुरा यति भयो मैले दाइलाई भने दाइ कमान के हो लाइक के हो त्यस्तो आई मिन मैले दाइले चाहिँ मलाई थ्याङ्क यू भन्नुभयो होइन पछि अनि भाउजू मलाई याद आयो बल्ल भाउजूले चाहिँ कसो थाहा पाउनु भएछ भने चाहिँ म नेपाली भनेर सो हामीले त्यो एउटा कार्ड दिन्छ क्या एउटा केस नम्बर लेखेर कार्ड दिन्छ अनि पछि हाम्रो नेम र ब्याज नम्बर लेख्नुपर्छ क्या अनि त्यो मैले दिएको थिएँ भाउजूले चाहिँ नेपाली हो कि भने कन्फ्युज भएछ नि दाइलाई गएर यस्तो भयो एउटा अफिसर नेपाली हो कि थाहा भनेर देखाउँदा चाहिँ दाइले ढुङ्गेल देख्नु साथै नेपाली भन्नु दाइले मलाई भेट्नु भएको थियो अब त्यो इभेन्टमा भेट्नु भयो
पोस्टर भइदियो नि हाम्रो
मैले अघि भनेको स्टोरी है अनि पछि इट्स अल कमिङ ब्याक कि फुल सर्कलमा है अनि पछि दाइले चाहिँ एकजना साथीलाई भेटेर म जसको इभेन्टमा भेटेको थिएँ उसलाई भेटेर उसँग फोन नम्बर आयो मलाई कल गर्नु भएको रहेछ अनि कसरी चिन्नु मैले हेलो चिन्यो भन्दाखेरि है सो पछि चाहिँ थाहा भयो कि त्यो गाडी चाहिँ दाइले चलाउनु भएको रहेछ क्या त्यो गाडी चलाएर दाइ भाग्नु भएको रहेछ होइन सो तर लाइक दाइ भाउजू दुवै रक्सी खानु भएको रहेछ सो कहिलेकाहीँ चाहिँ यस्तो एथिकल डिलेमामा चाहिँ परिन्छ होइन तर युजली मिसडिमिनर क्राइम डिवाई भनेको चाहिँ मिसडिमिनर क्राइममा चाहिँ हामीले डिस्क्रेसन युज गर्नु मिल्छ होइन तर त्यो म्यान्डेटरी अरेस्ट हो है तर त्यतिखेर सर्कमस्टान्सेस त्यस्तै थियो सो मैले छैन कसैलाई पनि समातेको सो नेपालीलाई चाहिँ अहिलेसम्म समात्नु परेको छैन है तर हाम्रो नेपाली म बसेको ठाउँमा 1-2 जना नेपालीहरू हुनुहुन्थ्यो जो चाहिँ
नेपाली ग्याङहरू छैन त
नेपाली ग्याङहरू छैन नेपाली ग्याङहरू
अनि किनभने जहाँ पनि ग्याङ र कम्युनिटी लाइक कोरिलेटेड नो लाइक
हाम्रो नेपाली कम्युनिटी छ त्यहाँ
यो चाहिँ 1-2 जना के भन्नु
हजुर
1-2 जना भर्खर के भन्नुभयो
मैले के भनेको थिएँ मैले
नेपालीहरू 80 जना छ
अलिकति अब इलिगल मान्छेहरू छ होला नि
इलिगल मान्छेहरू
आई मिन लाइक अलिक इलिगल बिजनेस गर्ने
एक्टिभिटिजहरुमा
छ आई मिन आई नो पिपल डु ड्रग्स यताउति
त्यहाँ पनि मोरल डिलेमा फेरि है
होइन त्यो चाहिँ अब यदि मलाई पर्सनली मैले यदि इफ आई कम अक्रस समबडी विथ ड्रग्स आई थिङ्क के भन्छ आई थिङ्क I will do what's necessary as what any cop would do at that time. They'll say, drugs. Some drug offense is still federally Schedule 1 drugs money because it's a like number one like not a felony crime on them. Felony crime. So this I don't think I'm gonna give one step back and give the person the opportunity to walk away for free. For free then a free one I'm not.
for free पैसा लिएर दिएन छोड्छु खाली
नेपाली पारा निस्किहाल्यो के फेरि फर फ्री चाहिँ हैन के गर्ने नेपाली नै हो आखिरमा है
क्यामेरा रिसेट गर्नु ए फेरि गरेको छन् दिस द थर्ड वान अनि लेट्स मेरो एउटा क्वेसन थियो
या एब्सोल्युटली
अब तपाईँ फर्स्ट जाँदाखेरि थ्रु आउट your journey through college and your work all your experiences did you ever face a racial
profiling
oh absolutely I mean especially more to like I see Mr. Ramro face terrorist हुन्छ नि मलाई त्यसो भन्नु खोजेन but I've been racially profiled भन्दा पनि there are some parts of the country where people के भन्छ अब
outsiders are not welcome
not welcome भन्दा पनि there are के भन्छ conservative yes तर brown मान्छेहरू धेरै छैन नि त्यहाँ हैन so if you go travel or pass through those places they give you this
and you said you were at Minnesota or something
Minnesota I went to school in Minnesota but Minnesota is a very welcoming state obviously त्यहाँ त झन् सबैको Somalian population छ हाम्रो Bhutanese Nepali को population छ it's a very के भन्छ diverse state for sure तर even like California मा है मलाई काम गर्दाखेरि मान्छेले मलाई के भन्छ एकजना म युनिफर्ममा हुँदाखेरि and this is not like I'm not making this shit up none of this but म काम गरायो मलाई एकजना मान्छेले मलाई legit मात्रै अघि इनिशियली म त्यो टेररिस्टको प्रोफाइल मिल्छ भन्नु खोजेको मलाई एकजना आइमेले legit how एउटा टेररिस्ट मान्छे कसरी पुलिस अफिसर भयो भनेछ क्या
white lady
white lady हैन काली मान्छेले
black Karen
black Karen right so
no like
त्यस्तो blatantly पनि भनेछ क्या मलाई अनि मैले त्यो subtle implicit bias त मैले मेरो आफ्नै एजेन्सीबाट डिपार्टमेन्टबाट त्यो फिल गरेको छु हजुर कलिग्सहरुबाट पनि त्यो हुन्छ नि त्यो इम्प्लिसिट बायस त्यो त सबैमा हुन्छ हैन इट्स आई थिंक त्यो इट्स मैले चाहिँ सबैलाई त्यसरी जज गर्नु यो मान्छेले मलाई यस्तो भन्यो भने जज गर्नु हुँदैन बिकज त्यो सबैमा त्यो अलिअलि चाहिँ हुन्छ क्या हामीमा पनि हुन्छ अलिकति हैन अनअवेयर हुन्छ अब अनएजुकेटेड नभनौँ अनअवेयर भनौँ हैन त्यस्तो कुरालाई पहिला डिल गऱ्यो भने तर I've experienced my fair share of racism is a big word that are like about differences भनौँ न like not
so against all odds you managed to pull through so far
गोर्खाली
गोर्खालिङ भन्दाखेरि अब नेभीमा हुँदाखेरि लाइक जस्तो तपाईँको ब्रिटिस आर्मी फ्रेन्च आर्मीहरूमा यस्तो छ नि त नरेटिभ लाइक नेपाली भन्ने बित्तिकै हरामी अब यो चाहिँ फाइटर हो टाइप्स क्या अब लाइक अलमोस्ट लाइक जहाँ उफ्री भन्दा पनि उफ्रिदिन्छ खालके छ नि त होइन अनेस्टली स्पिकिङ अमेरिकन नेभीहरूमा पनि त्यस्तै लाइक अर दे आर जस्ट इन्डिफरेन्ट टु एभ्रिथिङ
कस्तो
नेपाली भनेर
सो इट डिपेन्ड्स राइट अस्ति हामीले अलिकति कुरा गरेको थियो जस्तो लाग्यो यसको बारेमा just because you join military and अथवा you're in the service or you're in a specific branch does not necessarily mean about like you're a trained killer, you know, which I am by the way. Which I am by the way.
Looks funny killer रहेछ.
Looks funny killer रहेछ. अनि पछि joke थियो. I'm a trained saver. I'm a medic, you know. I'm a corpsman by profession. My job is to save lives. but त्यो कोही मान्छेले हुन्छ नि अब त्यही विदिन सर्भिस पनि पिपल डु डिफ्रेन्ट टाइप उनीहरूको डिफ्रेन्ट जब क्लासिफिकेसन हुन्छ अनि दे डु डिफ्रेन्ट टाइप्स अफ वर्क सो या त्यो प्राइड अब गोर्खालीको प्राइड त आउँछ कि तर नट एभ्रीबडी इज हुन्छ नि लाइक ओ म बन्दुक लिएर दौडिन्छु भन्ने कसैको नि हुँदैन क्या सो आई मिन इफ पिपल वान फिल दे त्यसरी इम्पावर्ड हुन्छ भने द्याट्स फाइन होइन देयर इट्स गुड टु फिल के भन्छ प्राउड अबाउट वाट यु डु your service and relate that to your के भन्छ your roots back to Nepal being Gorkhali this and that it's all fine मलाई चाहिँ त्यस्तो लाग्छ तर म पर्सनली I think मैले चाहिँ throughout this your process चाहिँ I've learned to be humble भनौँ न है मलाई चाहिँ त्यस्तो के पनि म प्राउड छु होइन मैले गरेको कामहरूमा तर म त्यो प्राइड छैन प्राइडफुल लाइक त्यो कमन हुन्छ नि एउटा त्यो छैन आई डोन्ट थिङ्क द्याट्स इट्स काउन्टर इन्ट्युटिभ लाइक तपाईँको लाइक हानिकारक भन्छ नि त्यस्तो हानिकारक भन्छ के त्यो फाइदा छैन क्या त्यस्तो कुराहरू होइन तर या
प्राइड कम्स बिफोर अ फल लाइक दे से
समथिङ लाइक द्याट या
Have you been in combat?
No thankfully अहिले त युएस बिन कन्फ्लिक्ट छैन नि त अहिले होइन हाम्रो मैले एटलिस्ट मैले जोइन गरेदेखि त देयर इज नो एक्टिभ स्ट्रेस गर्नु एक्टिभ कन्फ्लिक्ट भएको छैन नि त सो म अस्ति रिसेन्टली हाम्रो एभ्री इयर एनुअल एक्सर्साइज हुन्छ अनि बिकज के भन्छ आई वर्क विथ द मरिन्स अनि रिकनेसेन्स युनिट्स त्यो सबै काम गरेको ट्रेनिङ एक्सपिरियन्स भएको कारण चाहिँ वी डु अ भेरी स्पेसिफिक टाइप अफ ट्रेनिङ एक्सर्साइज हामी कहिले के भन्छ वी गो आउट गुआममा कहिले वी गो आउट हवाईमा कहिले वी गो आउट लाइक सेन्डिएको डेजर्टमा अनि अहिले कहिले चाहिँ अलास्का कोल्ड वेदर ट्रेनिङ भन्छ अनि वी गो टु लाइक दिस एक्सट्रिम प्लेसेस एन्ड वी ट्राई टु क्रिएट ए सिनेरियो द्याट इज लाइक वारमा हुँदाखेरि अब फर इक्जाम्पल हामी कोल्ड वेदर ट्रेनिङ भन्छौँ हामी अलास्कन माउन्टेन कोल्डमा त्यहाँ गएर चाहिँ 15 डेजसम्म चाहिँ हामी ओके यदि हामी यस्तो सिचुएसनमा वार भयो भने हाउ डु वी के भन्छ म्यास क्याजुअल्टी म्यासिभ ट्रमाहरू हामी कसरी ट्रिट गर्ने त हामी कसरी म्यानेज गर्ने त एज अ मेडिक बट अल्सो एज अ फाइटर राइट यु हेभ टु सप्रेस फायर तपाईँ के भन्छ फायर पनि सप्रेस गर्नुपर्छ तपाईँ युआर गोइन आउट देयर यु के भन्छ तपाईँले के भन्छ अफेन्सिभ पनि छ एट द सेम टाइम यु ट्रिटिङ अल यो के भन्छ फेलो मरिन्स सेलर्स आर्मी सोल्जर्स आई मिन के भन्छ एयरमेन एन्ड सोल्जर्स वेयर इट मे बी युआर फाइटिङ अलङ साइड होइन त्यो चाहिँ अलास्किङ वेदरमा हुन्छ अनि अस्ति म भर्खर के भन्छ उता सेन्डिएको डेजर्टमा गएको थिएँ 15 days वी बिल्ड आवर ओन हस्पिटल अ फङ्सनल हस्पिटल फ्रम ग्राउन्ड अप एम्टी स्पेसबाट वी बिल्ड इट अप अनि पछि वी डु इन एक्चुअल के भन्छ कम्ब्याट सिमुलेसन where people want to like actually get injured you have this live mannequins that bleeds उनीहरूको like सबै के भन्छ you can perform all kinds of different के भन्छ medical procedures होइन तपाईँको के भन्छ तपाईँको तिनीहरूलाई त्यो सबै गर्ने चाहिँ we have surgeons we have के भन्छ all kinds of like actual medical professional पनि क्या हामीसँग काम गर्दाखेरि अनि you do this हाम्रो के भन्छ medevac हुन्छ we do Humvee roll we do के भन्छ air transport अनि पछि फायर सप्रेसन सबै कुरा हुन्छ 15 डेजसम्म एभोल्युसन हुन्छ यो अनि हामी सबै कम्प्लिट गरेपछि अनि यो चाहिँ हाम्रो यो के भन्छ एभ्री इयर वी हेभ टु किप अप एज अ युनिट वी हेभ टु किप अप आवर सर्टिफिकेसन अनि रिसेन्टली चाहिँ हाम्रो के भन्छ विच इज अ ग्रेट थिङ वी जस्ट मुभ फ्रम tier 2 forward mobility expeditionary unit to tier 1 भनेको चाहिँ we can अब हामी चाहिँ मेरो युनिट चाहिँ now will be attached to any reconnaissance special force or dev crew unit or सँग attached हुन्छ क्या so त्यस्तो हुन्छ त्यसरी हुन्छ so fortunately I don't thankfully अहिलेसम्म चाहिँ कम्ब्याटमा पर्नु परेको छैन but trained for that scenario situation yes
but don't you think the skills you learned त्यहाँ होइन you can like come back home and यहाँको आर्मीहरूलाई you can try to teach them or implement
he's an American citizen
अब just like doing something
are you allowed to share that knowledge
के भन्छ skills set अरू चाहिँ me personally आएर चाहिँ I don't think I can do that है तर I know this के भन्छ information चाहिँ हाम्रो US embassy ले नै they put out they have joint operation with के भन्छ नेपालको आर्मीहरूसँग so they bring out a lot of के भन्छ subject matter expert भनौँ न हाम्रो पनि so के भन्छ corpsmenहरुमा पनि there are different ranks अनि पछि among those people there are के भन्छ उनीहरु instructor rank हुन्छ नि they come out here अनि पछि अनि they teach मलाई थाहा त्यो कुरा चाहिँ मलाई थाहा छ they bring out के भन्छ service member from हाम्रो देशबाट हाम्रो देशको के भन्छ फौजलाई US मा लगेर अनि पछि they do joint operation training joint exercises उनीहरुले गरिरा हुन्छ यस्तो कुराहरु सो या त्यस्तो कुरा चाहिँ हुन्छ तर मैले आई मिन मैले सिकेको के भन्छ मैले सिकेको आफ्नै मैले मेरो जति पनि मैले ट्रेनिङ मेरो मेडिकल ट्रेनिङ गरेको छु मैले ट्रमा म्यानेजमेन्टदेखि लिएर हुन्छ नि दुनियाँ मेरो के भन्छ अब सुटिङ ट्रेनिङदेखि लिएर सबै कुराहरू यो चाहिँ मैले चाहिँ मेरो एजेन्सीमा अहिले के भन्छ म
एनडीए टाइपको साइन गर्नु
हजुर
एनडीए टाइपको साइन गर्नु
कस्तो
नन
डिस्क्लोजर एग्रिमेन्टहरु या त्यस्तो पनि साइन गर्नुपर्छ देयर आर सो मेनी थिङ्स अब डिफ्रेन्ट त्यस्तो कुरा डेफिनेट गर्नुपर्छ तर मैले चाहिँ अहिले के गर्नु लाग्छ भने मेरो एजेन्सीमा एज अ ल इन्फोर्समेन्ट अफिसर हामी चाहिँ 4 दिनको बेसिक मेडिकल कोर्सबाट जान्छ क्या which is nothing right you learn a lot of things but you don't learn enough क्या हैन सो मैले चाहिँ के गर्नु लाग्छ भने मी अनि पछि मेरो एकजना साथी छ मेरो के भन्छ was a great amazing shooter was एकदम he's into guns उसको चाहिँ his thing is guns so उले र मैले मिलेर चाहिँ we are trying to develop this trauma management course हरु चाहिँ so we can implement मैले सिकेको ट्रेनिङहरु अनि पछि त्यस्तो trauma management course हरु कति छ तर यो चाहिँ स्पेसिफिक कोर्स चाहिँ मैले मेरो साथी एजे भन्ने साथी छ उ र म मिलेर अनि के भन्छ we trying to build this course and we trying to teach के भन्छ fellow service member अथवा anybody who wants to take this course and better themselves because life saving skill भनेको anybody can use these skills अब जहाँ पनि हुन सक्छ क्या you can save life you don't know when you can use these skills to save lives
bro
Yeah.
one last question है के अरे you being an American citizen अनि active serviceman पनि हैन
yeah
what are your thoughts about the MCC deal that Nepal and America are signing
yeah we spoke so म के भन्छ I'm not before I give my answer अनि हेर्नु भएको सबै मान्छेहरूले है I don't want to के भन्छ store any के भन्छ anything and I'm not a subject matter expert यस्तो कुरामा by any stretch of
just your opinion
yeah by any stretch of imagination this is my sole opinion and if I say offend do anything I apologize so तर मलाई चाहिँ के लाग्छ भने MCC नेपालमा आउनु सही कुरा हो hear me out किनभने हाम्रो नेपालमा यो मैले चाहिँ मेरो अब अघि हामीले ओपिनियन भने मेरो धारणामा चाहिँ के लाग्छ भने नेपालमा हुने जहिले पनि यो के भन्छ विकसित कुराहरू हामी अरू देशको कम्पेयर गर्ने भने हामी यति पिछडिएको छौँ नि हाम्रो देश यति राम्रो छ नि यति पोटेन्सियल भएको देश हो नि and the fact that we're still behind in terms of infrastructures in terms of technology in terms of education सबै कुरा भनौँ because MCC covers a lot of these things right हामी एकदमै पिछडिएको छौँ क्या त्यो कुरा हाम्रो देशमा ट्राई नगरेर होइन क्या यो हाम्रो देशमा यति धेरै त्यो दलाली हुन्छ नि भनौँ न बजेट आउँछ कन्ट्र्याक्टरले लिन्छ आई मिन पोलिटिसियनले लिन्छ पकेट हाल्छ कन्ट्र्याक्टरमा हाल्छ कन्ट्र्याक्टर या ट्रिकल डाउन टु बाइ द टाइम त्यो लाइक 100 के भन्छ $1 billion को बजेट तल हुन्छ नि एक्चुअल त्यो तपाईँको प्रोजेक्टमा चाहिने बजेट तल आउँदाखेरि नि अराउन्ड 10 billion हुन्छ होला क्या सो त्यो सिरियस कन्ट्र्याक्टरले बिड गरेको हुन्छ होइन they do serious job अनि पछि एकदमै कवाडी काम गर्छ हैन अनि पछि next thing you know हाम्रो like roads are always fucked up हाम्रो we don't have electrical हाम्रो grid system हाम्रो infrastructure it's fucked up right हाम्रो देशको technological stuff is fucked up त्यो बाहिर गएर आउँदाखेरि तपाईको यो एयरपोर्टमा ल्यान्ड हुन्छ नि you see I mean come on man the least you could do as a country is build a nice fucking airport you don't even have a के भन्छ तपाईँको एयरपोर्टमा एसी पनि छैन क्या मेरो त्यो ब्यागेज अड्किरहेको थियो है ब्यागेज आएर अलमोस्ट लाइक 45 minutes जति कुर्नु भइसक्यो त्यो यति धेरै लाइक पसिना आइसक्यो क्या एसी छैन है त्यो तपाईँको यस्तो फ्यान which is okay right which is fine तर come on man मान्छेहरूको फर्स्ट इम्प्रेसन भनेको त एयरपोर्ट हो नि है आउँदाखेरि देश त पहाड त देखिरहेको ब्युटिफुल छ तर आई मिन एयरपोर्टमा त्यस्तो एक्सपिरियन्स अब म एज अ के भन्छ यहाँ जन्मेको मान्छे होइन बाहिर गएर आएर त्यस्तो एक्सपिरियन्स हुन्छ भने जो मान्छेले कहिले पनि यो देश एक्सपिरियन्सै गरेको छैन त्यो मान्छे आउँदा कस्तो लाइक ड्याम कस्तो देशमा आएछ जस्तो भन्यो होला एक्जोटिक राइट तर मान्छे यहाँ आएपछि अब मान्छेहरू वेयर के भन्छ वी गुड पिपल नेपाली मान्छेहरू के भन्छ बाई नेचर एकदम वेलकमिङ छ होइन सो दे विल ह्याभ डिफ्रेन्ट पर्सपेक्टिभ डिफ्रेन्ट अफ के भन्छ राम्रो एक्सपिरियन्स इभेन्चुली राइट तर त्यो फर्स्ट इम्प्रेसन दे विल फरएभर के मैले एकजना एयरपोर्टमा मान्छेसँग कुरा भएको थियो कि हाम्रो विदेशी मान्छेसँग उसले मलाई हुन्छ लाइक त्यो उसले मलाई के भनेको थियो याद छ न बेसिकली टक्ड अबाउट संसार कहाँ बेसिकली नेपालको एयरपोर्टहरूमा अचम्म लाग्यो भन्ने जस्तो कुरा गरेको उसले क्या यस्तो बास्न आइरहेछ यार एयरपोर्टमा यार आई मिन गनाइरहेछ यार त्यस्तो लाइक हुन्छ नि लाइक एकदम कन्जस्टेड छ लाइक एयरपोर्टले धान्ने भन्दा धेरै मान्छे छ होइन एउटा इट्स वान अफ द इक्जाम्पल राइट एमसिसीले यस्तो आएर प्रोजेक्ट गर्यो भने एमसिसीले के भन्छ उसको आफ्नै म्यान पावर लाउँछ आफ्नै इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चर लाउँछ सबै कुरा आफ्नै डिप्लोय गर्छ नि त त्यो गर्न साथै के हुन्छ भने त्यो जति पनि तपाईँको त्यो मिडल म्यान एक्स्ट्रा मिडल म्यान साइडको म्यान हुन्छ अल द म्यान द्याट यु डोन्ट निड होइन करप्ट हुन्छ क्या होइन you save the money, you save the budget, and there's this idea that MCC आएर नेपाल अफगानिस्तान इराक जस्तो हुन्छ
there's no clause for military
no there's MCC is a different के भन्छ federally funded organization हो military is different त्यो कुरा हो क्या so there's no coercion छैन आउने त टाढा कुरा there will be some किनभने उसको आफ्नो एउटा एन्टिटी एउटा आफ्नो एन्टिटी आउनु लाग्छ दे विल प्रोभाइड सम सिक्युरिटी होइन बिकज प्रोभाइड गर्नु पऱ्यो होइन आफ्नो देशको मान्छेहरू आउनु लाग्छ देशमा आएर मान्छेहरू आउनु लाग्छ अलिकति सिक्युरिटी प्रोभाइड गर्नु पऱ्यो त्यो भएर चाहिँ आउँछ होला तर देशमा कब्जा गरेर के भन्छ अमेरिकाले चलाउने भन्ने कुरा त्यो फेयर मङ्गरिङ हो I mean
that's the thing Nepali people are the most skeptical about होइन अफगानिस्तान हुन्छ कि
हुँदैन
America's stake in it
Chinese
America's stake धेरै कुरा छ they're giving के भन्छ यो MCC भन्नेलाई they put out the contract for bid to private contractors उनीहरूको देशको अनि they will provide के भन्छ building materials infrastructures labor
अलगा surveillance
they can
and अलगा surveillance on China
कस्तो
we don't know like अब हामीले
I mean अब मैले अघि भने जस्तो
speculate गरेको
यो पनि मेरो पनि speculation is purely opinion है मैले सोच्दाखेरि चाहिँ अब I do not know हुन्छ नि like details I've not thoroughly read MCC को नेपालमा कस्तो proposal छ कस्तो policy छ तर बाहिरबाट हेर्दाखेरि होइन as somebody who lived here अनि पछि lived United States for the extended period of time I think it's a के भन्छ it's a very it's a promising हुन्छ नि के भन्छ bureaucratic deal whatever you want to call it with the United States that Nepal can pursue okay तर obviously पैसा जहाँ money involved हुन्छ हैन त्यहाँ there के भन्छ यस्तो कुरा हुनु भनेको एकदम reasonable हो especially नेपाल जस्तो देशमा हैन जहाँ corruption is embedded in every aspect of life भनौं न
Hello
it's true
guess who is this
hey Virat
what's up dude hello
what's going on man
alright bro we're coming out now bro bot dial गर्छ जस्तो लाग्यो
yeah I think so.
thanks for
thanks
for
man this was an interesting
hopefully I'll catch you next year in the States
absolutely
we can have a couple of beers
I will stop and you can okay once I please your fit but yeah I had a great time thank you guys for inviting me के भन्छ मेरो स्टोरीहरु अलिकति lengthy and boring
that's what podcasts are for
thorough
so yeah I had a great time like even talking and मैले भनेको कुरा I don't know if people gonna resonate find you know अलिकति helpful but hopefully that's the hope so what
thanks for being a good ambassador for our people
absolutely always man
poster boy
man thanks bro thank you hope to see you soon bro regardless
I'll see you soon for sure all you guys
Mams, your pause गर्दैन ऋषभ Aakash bro thanks